Hey everyone, this is Rob,
Hey, Michelle.
and welcome to Bunebape, your weekly podcast and everything you need to know about old school RuneScape.
Meet
Merp. All right, so this week up on the docket, we actually have a fully jam-packed and loaded docket this week.
Oh yeah, a lot to go over.
We're going to be kicking it off with some summer sweep-up changes. This is some stuff that actually, this blog was released pretty much right after our podcast last week on like Friday or something.
Thank God someone was like, "Oh, I'm excited to hear that," and I was like, "I'm sick. I'm so glad this did not come out when I was still sick."
Yeah, she is much less sick now, and we have much more talking to do, so it kind of works out because the Summer Sweep Up blog is extensive to say the least.
And that's not all.
That they are hitting their web page maximum.
They actually, yeah, they did.
And we have poll 84. So this is what's this week's update. So we're going to be talking about that. Some pretty interesting stuff there. And then arguably the most interesting of all. And, I think a lot of people say, I hate to be the I told you so person. I don't necessarily hate to be that guy.
One thing about you, you really don't hate to be the I told you so person.
I don't particularly enjoy it, but I also... I don't hate it.
Enjoy it.
I don't hate it.
You said to me earlier, like, I don't want to be that guy, but I don't even remember.
We're going to talk about, I'm not going to spoil it. We'll talk about we'll talk about the current happenings of Project Zanaris.
And if any of you have ever listened to this podcast before and heard Robert talk about it, you can guess where that's going.
Yes. And of course, we have the Q&A as per usual. Always, we appreciate anyone asking questions. And if you also want to ask questions, feel free to go to any of our socials linked down below or at the end of the pod, or just go to our discord.gg/boonbape. You can ask questions there. They can be RuneScape related, other game related, or just real life stuff. And we'll add them into the pod.
Yeah. And you guys should also go to our Discord and give me advice on how to make my cats want to play more.
Yes. Or
Please.
Also you can go there to sign up for Michelle's Big Bingo.
Yeah, so I'm hosting a bingo in next month, actually. So Friday, July 11th at 6 a.m. to Monday, July 14th at 6 a.m. That's Pacific Standard Time. We're going to be doing a little bingo. It's a 10 mil buy-in, and then just make the bingo pot and any donations as the prize. I'm looking for more team captains. I was looking over everyone who's applied for it so far, and like not many people want to be a captain. I might just have to make people be captain potentially.
Yeah,
I guess I'll have to be one.
The purse is looking to be upwards of a couple $100 million. So hopefully,
I think we're probably going to get a decent amount more people. I only just posted about it on Twitter and Blue Sky and stuff today.
Yeah. So if you want to participate, feel free to do that as well. It's obviously if you like bingos, then this is going to be up your alley.
Yeah, there's something for everyone, like low, mid, high level content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before we get into all that super cool stuff, Michelle, how's it going?
It's going well. I have just been doing some Yama. I've done some Yama CAs. I did all of them except for the Master and Grandmaster time and the contract one. So very happy with that. Other than that, I've been like stacking a lot of clues. So the reason I'm hosting the bingo as well is it's our 4-year streaming anniversary in July. So I'm just going to do a special stream either before or after the bingo where I'm just super special, where I'm opening up hundreds of clue caskets. Hopefully I don't have hundreds stacked yet though, so I also need to work on that. Now that the CAs are done, I probably should focus more on doing that.
Yeah, you definitely need to get to work if you're actually going to do that.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Stardew Valley though. Once I think that was like right after we started recording, and the next day I was like, what am I going to do with all this free time now that I'm sick? And I felt so bad sitting at my computer, like physically like felt sicker sitting at my computer than I did like cozied up on the couch. So I was just going and playing Stardew, and I'm having a lot of fun. I've played 35 hours in the past week, which is a lot more than I did.
Well, a lot more than anyone would like to admit to.
Yeah, but I'm going back to work on Friday and then back to full-time next week. I also had an interview today for an actual full-time position that wouldn't randomly cut my hours, so we'll see if I hear back on that. I was interviewed by 6 people, which was nuts. But yeah, what have you been up to?
I have not been up to much.
I could see him looking at the Reddit for other people's stuff.
No, this was a particular thing I was looking for. I saw it earlier in the week. I try to, get a few things from the community that I think are kind of interesting throughout the week, and this is one I remember seeing.
Yeah.
So I was just wanting to make sure to pull it up.
You're like, if I don't blame myself, I need to get someone else's. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I have really an incredibly tragic story to share with people from the community highlight, if you will.
Okay.
Because I don't have anything to share. I'll share something from a user on RuneScape named Plundering.
Okay.
Great
That's a really
username.
good name.
Great username. So we've talked about Snowflake accounts in the past.
Yeah.
One of the most regarded ones, and at least for me, in my opinion, is the Skiller account that's able to get 99 Slayer.
I was just thinking no combat but 99 Slayer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very, very
10 hit points.
intensive
Ugh.
account. Well, this person took it to another level.
Mhm.
Plundering had 126 all skills and finally achieved
Wait, like 200 mil?
200 mil all skills
Including Slayer?
and finally got 99 Slayer
Oh, okay.
with 0 combat.
Oh my god.
And
What's tragic?
I think in the same day, they accidentally, after for anyone that doesn't know, in order to get Slayer XP, you actually use a technique where you get the last hit on an enemy that your main is killing. And if you hit it at all during that last hit, even if it's 0, you get half the XP. I think that's how it works.
Half the Slayer XP?
Half the Slayer XP.
Okay. And you don't get combat, why?
And you don't get combat because you're hitting a 0 and you're using a weapon that can only
like
hit,
a fun weapon.
yeah, that can only hit 0s. That is the way it was explained to me. Obviously you can just do necklaces, cleaning necklaces.
For the lamps.
Yeah, for the lamps. You can do that obviously, but I think the method that is like the go-to for these accounts currently is you go to last hit in the same tick that the enemy is dying, and your fun weapon hits a 0, but you still get half the XP because you're part of the kill technically.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what was happening, and that's why this mistake was made. So, they had the 99 party. He was like equipping different weapons and stuff like that.
I already don't like where this is going.
And he either had a wrong weapon equipped and went back to do more Slayer, because obviously he has to go from 99 to now 126. And he leveled strength.
No.
Immediately ruining the account with a level 2 strength.
Oh, it's so ugly.
It is incredibly ugly.
So ugly. Oh no.
Unfortunate.
Same day for real?
I think the same day he
or
had,
if not really soon after.
because he had the party and then went to go do more Slayer.
Man, whoever gave them that weapon, you should get your account deleted. How dare you?
Unfortunate.
That is brutal.
Very unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know. Also, on an unrelated note, someone else did say that you can horn people using fun weapons and they'll hit a 1.
Wait, what?
If someone is using a fun weapon, you can use the horn, going like,
oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll hit a 1.
Oh my god, what if someone did that to them?
I don't know.
It could have been so many things.
Yeah. But yeah, so many things. I think that is what I had heard happened. I can't confirm. I don't see.
They probably weren't recording or anything. It was probably just happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't see Plundering in here confirming or denying that's what happened. I think that's like what I saw was suspected to have happened.
It's the rumor circulating currently.
I don't think they were trolled. I think it was just a mistake.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't think anyone did it on purpose.
Oh, I do think
people would do it on purpose.
People would do it on purpose.
What community am I talking about here?
Yeah. I don't think that was the case.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But I did want to share that because I saw that and I was like, oh, this is incredibly tragic. And someone did say that sucks, but also maybe now just go for 126 strength. No, just maybe just 126 strength. Well, I guess you
strength
could.
Without hit points though? That's a whole another beast.
That is true. that would still be kind of a flex.
Isn't that dynamite? Is it
I have
dynamite
no
to do
idea.
that?
I have no idea.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing he just accidentally got it and then it wasn't enough XP to level his health.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah, I wonder. I honestly am more interested in what he's going to do with that account. Like, will he continue or what?
So many people just quit their accounts when that stuff happens.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, like, you want to preserve it as it was.
Yeah,
Even if
true.
it's slightly messed up, people will know what happened.
Maybe he just leaves it like that forever and just starts a new account.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
Yeah.
potentially.
I don't know. But anyways, something kind of rolling in to our next thing that we're going to talk about, which is the summer sweep up, kind of goes along with something I thought was pretty cool. As I've seen a few posts like this, is a lot of people have noticed that following the summer sweep up, the price of fangs has doubled
Yeah.
from 9 mil to 10 mil, and I saw a few people able to merch quite a few billion of GP,
Hundreds of fangs.
many hundreds of fangs. Someone had been waiting, collecting,
Clearly.
because I mean, to be fair, they're buying, you know, practically best in slot melee one-handers for, you know, 8 mil.
No, it's crazy.
So
But they do talk about more in detail
yeah,
as well,
they
Sam.
did have to cash out eventually, and this is going to be the patch. So they do have like a little video about it, and the summer sweep up has a ton of rebalance stuff, including changes to TOA.
Yes. This is gonna be a lot to get into.
Yes.
If you would rather watch a video though, it was made with collaboration with Coxie and Pack for a little overview of what they're going over, but we're gonna go more into detail about it.
Yeah, this is kind of following the footsteps of last year's Project Rebalance, where they also changed a bunch of stuff. And that was when we got a bunch of good changes to skills like agility and just a bunch of other stuff that needed the quality of life.
It's also when we got elemental weaknesses,
Yes.
and which is something that they're actually adjusting more right now.
Yeah, they're going to be expanding upon it. So elemental weaknesses and NPC defense changes. Both of these were implemented last time we went with a round of these, and they are going to be expanding them by quite a lot.
They said it was a year ago. It doesn't feel like a year.
Yeah, it doesn't. Time flies when you're not having fun. So air weakness.
Oh, we're just gonna go into which kinds. Okay.
I guess so. I mean, everyone,
They're interested in feedback. They wanted you guys to reach out to them if any of these like things don't make sense. If you're like, why is this like weak to air? They want you to reach out.
There's a few things I think don't make sense.
But they were mostly going based on like lore reasons and kind of making up their own lore.
Yeah. And also for anyone, just very quickly, if you don't know what elemental weakness is, it's like they put the Pokemon system into RuneScape.
Yeah.
So fire things are weak to water, and fire is good against flesh, stuff like that. But they do have a bunch of changes here.
Yeah, they also added, you might also notice that some of the adjusted monsters still aren't worth using elemental spells. Keep in mind that we're not drastically redefining the meta here. We're just rolling out weaknesses that make sense thematically. You guys, this is not like them saying go kill everything with magic.
Yeah, like,
it's just giving backgrounds.
There's going to be changes to Hydra, for example. Tebow was still more than likely
You're
be
not
best
gonna
in
go
slot,
mage Hydra.
but if you wanted to, you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just more opportunity if like maybe you have like a weird account that you only want to mage. Now it's way more feasible.
Yeah. And this also allows them to expand on it in the future. Maybe eventually they'll make a weapon that like doubles weakness or something like that.
Totally.
So the first one is going to be air weaknesses.
I like their logic.
This one I think honestly makes the least sense.
I thought this one made sense.
No. So it says it gives you mastery over air and an edge versus enemy who rely on cheap tactics like floating or flying. Strong gusts of winds can throw your opponents off balance, making them especially susceptible to air spells.
I thought that was fair.
Okay, riddle me this then. If all you did all your life was walk every day, you'd imagine that person was pretty okay on their feet. And if the ground shook a little, chances are, unless they have some impairment, they're not just gonna fall over.
In my mind, 99 mage, I'm air waving or whatever. I'm hitting them hard. This is a crazy San Andreas fault type earthquake. They're falling.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I just imagine, you know, let's say there was a bat about the size of 3 humans wide, that had been flying since the dawn of time. I just imagine a gust of wind wouldn't knock it over. If anything, it would actually be used to that and maybe be able to weather it even better.
That's where you're wrong. A tornado hits that bat. It's gone. It's gone.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, anyways, that's going to be essentially the premise that's happening for birds, bats, devils of every variety.
They meant like the fire devils, I'm guessing. What are they
I
called?
I have no
Not
idea.
demons, though, because they
No,
mentioned demons later.
specifically devils.
Yeah.
The only part of this that I think does make, I mean, I guess technically thematic sense is the additional damage to ghasts, banshees, and shades. So
Just blow
non-corporeal.
them away like a fan.
Yeah, like non-corporeal beings are also weak to air now, and also wyverns for some reason.
Yeah. Also, most noteworthy NPCs are now going to be Zarpus, Thermi, Phantom Muspa, and a handful of quest enemies.
Yeah, I was alluding to Zarpus earlier.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Worms are now weak to air instead of earth, like you said. Skeletons are now weak to earth instead of air, and zombies are now weak to fire instead of air, which they go over more in detail soon.
I feel like skeletons being weak to oh no, it says skeletons are now weak to earth. I was about to say
Yes.
skeletons being weak to anything but crush, considering they're already weak to crush, would be weird.
Yeah, no, they used to be weak to air, but they realized that didn't make sense. Just covering Goose's butthole because she put it right in front of the camera.
And she's trying to show off. Let her show
Oh
off.
my god. Next up is water weaknesses. Why would you say let her show off?
She's trying to show what she's got.
Oh my god. Perhaps a little more readily apparent than air weaknesses. Anything that feels particularly fiery, including demons, will take serious damage from water spells. So there aren't any changes to NPCs with existing weaknesses here, just new ones. Those will be all the Zar creatures, including Jad and Zuck, Vorkath, KBD, Great Olm, Krill and his generals, Serb, Skatizo, and all of the fire-related or demon-related quest NPCs too.
Yeah, I like this one maybe the most, but I do have a problem with Vorkath being in there. I get that
Vorkath's more of a zombie. Vorkath shoot fire.
they tried to clump him in here because he shoots fire because he's a dragon, but yeah, you're right. He is literally
He's
an
a zombie.
undead dragon.
Yeah, he's I think that they might get that feedback.
and
I guess.
he's in ice.
Yeah.
Like he should definitely be weak to
He's
fire.
gonna get like ice burns.
Sure. The next one's going to be earth weakness. So anything that has a tough exterior, you can try slamming some earth magic into it. So in our first go around, earth weaknesses were perhaps the least utilized. For anyone that doesn't remember, this was only really used against metal dragons. We're adding a mountain of new NPCs to this list, and we're going to be talking about this list a lot while we go through this. There is a master list, and it is extremely long.
Yeah, we're doing the overview.
Yeah, we're not going to be looking at it. They do have a like Excel spreadsheet of all the mobs that are getting changed.
There's like multiple spreadsheets in this blog.
Yeah, if you really want to check it out. But anything that has an incredibly hard exterior, as you might imagine, or is water based, the dust, I guess, thematically will kind of mess them up and soak up the water, turn them into mud, and also, I guess, the hard rocks will break hard shells. So to that extent, drakes are getting moved into this category because they have, hard defensive shells, I guess, kind of. And they're similar to chromatic dragons already. Mountain trolls are also getting added to this. And the one that I think is the most sus, the giant mole.
Does the giant mole have high defense?
The giant mole is a creature that lives and breeds in dirt.
But the thing is, if that dirt fell on the giant mole, Dunzo.
Yeah, and shout out to Satyr. Actually made a really good point. The actual way that you kill moles in real life is with water.
Really? Oh no, do you drown them?
Yeah.
I hate that so much.
So it's like, this is kind of out of place.
Oh, that makes me sad. Now I'm thinking about real life moles.
It's like low key fighting a dragon with fire. It's like, okay.
Fighting Vorkath with water.
Yeah. Additional mobs added into the earth weakness category is going to be Hydra, Dawn Dusk, Giant Mole, Kraken, and a variety of quest NPCs.
Cool. Fire weaknesses. These are the most intuitive of any, of course. Icy stuff melts, naturey stuff like plants and bugs burn to a crisp. There's a lot more that we think we could have done with these weaknesses initially. We've not got any changes to NPCs who already have weakness, but we have a lot of additions. Most worth keeping an eye on are Briafita, Hespori, Calphi Queen, Sarachnis, Venenatus, Spindle, Scorpia, Nilos, Versix Spider Form, and Skeletal Wyverns. We did mention them earlier, but as a reminder, zombies as well, which is why Vorkath should be in here, to be honest. But yeah, lots of new fire. They're like, we added so much last time. We're gonna add like 50 more real quick.
Yeah. And again, they're not looking to change up any metas or anything like that. Some things might change. You might be bringing an air staff where previously you didn't, but that's honestly not going to change most metas.
And they're open to feedback on stuff like the giant mole. You know, if you're like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
There's a survey.
Somewhere where I suspect there might be a little bit more meta mix up is going to be the next part, which is going to be NPC defense changes. This is for anyone that didn't know, they added, honestly, they didn't
I forgot about it.
they didn't actually add any technical weaknesses. They kind of just broke up ranged into 3 different types of range, being light for things like darts, standard for things like regular bows, and heavy encompasses pretty much every kind of crossbow. And all these weaknesses were added to a ton of different mobs, but none of them had any impact on any of the enemy's defenses for the most part. They just added them in there for the future, and now is the future.
I will say, I hate that's advertised as elemental weaknesses, clear, obvious, and then NPC defense, less clear, less obvious. I wish they'd just say range weaknesses.
They should
That's
totally
what
change it
is.
to range weaknesses.
Because that's why I didn't even mention it first, because I forgot what that meant.
Yeah. The reason they don't do that is because this does also include specific tweaks to stab, slash, and crush defenses in certain areas, specifically rolling out the new flat armor system that they added at Perilous Moons a while ago.
Okay.
I didn't even remember that they added this into the game, but for anyone that was unfamiliar like me, flat armor is only existent currently in Perilous Moons, and what it does is it just has a straight up reduction or addition to damage. So currently you roll in a range, and if you are successful, you hit the enemy. It's as simple as that. That's how defense works. It doesn't actually reduce the damage you do. But flat armor, what it does is it actually, let's say it has a 2 value, then that means that if you were to do a 10, now you do an 8. And so it just reduces the damage directly by an amount, or it can increase it directly by an amount. So yeah, anyways, that's how it works, and they are looking at adding that to a few different areas. This will have implications against particularly fast or weapons with multi-hit splats. For instance, if it blocks a solid 2, that'll mean a bigger difference for things like Scythe, because it's blocking actually 8 because there's 4 hit splats.
8 hit spots. I was like, that's not right.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, if it only takes 2 off of a really hard hitting weapon, that's not as big of a deal. So there's going to be some implications for this. Like I said, there might be some meta changes, but there's a lot to go over. So they, again, aren't looking to change up a ton of things here, but I figured this would probably have a bigger impact if I had to guess.
Yeah. You know what's weird is they didn't actually list anything for the ranges. They just said that they're going to add more.
Yep.
I didn't realize until you kept talking about the flat armor, and I was like, oh yeah, they don't even list it.
Yeah, they do, like I said, they do have a large list of things that were changed elemental wise or defense wise, including the flat defense. So if you want to see, they have like
I don't even know how to read this spreadsheet.
It's like
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, okay, so they have a spreadsheet of hundreds and hundreds of mobs with the current defenses they have, and then the proposed defenses that they want to add, which
you have to compare them all. That seems so hard.
You have to compare them all, unfortunately. And then they have a delta as the third sheet in the Google sheet, which essentially just tells you the differences.
Oh, so you don't have to compare. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like you do and you don't have to compare. I mean, it's still interesting to look at if you are.
But it doesn't say like the first like actual totals.
Yeah. So for instance, this one is the first one I saw that has a negative flat armor value, and it looks to be the ASIN shade.
Where?
This one.
Where's the armor thing?
All the way on the right side, -3.
we have to scroll because my thing's not very
so
open.
I guess if you have if you're fighting one of the shades in the crypts, then it would actually just take an additional 3 damage. So that's where you might want to bring like a really fast weapon.
Yeah, they're very moderately or like mildly releasing this for now, clearly.
Yeah, definitely very preliminary.
I mean, it's kind of how they did the elemental last year. They're like, let's start slow,
What
see what people think.
it's cool because it is way more expansive, that's
Yeah.
for sure. Because last time they only added the elemental stuff to like 20 mobs or something, and now this is hundreds.
I think that this list is actually every NPC that you can fight because a lot of them are 0. I think they just straight up copy and pasted every NPC.
No, a lot of them aren't zero. Look at the element. Like,
Oh yeah, duh. I'm
all the
missing the
green, yeah, all the
elemental.
green stuff is the change stuff.
Wow,
Almost,
so many stuff are getting elemental
yeah.
changes, you
I
guys.
was like, almost everything in this list is getting
You
changed.
know what's funny is because it's so much elemental, I didn't even catch it.
Yeah, Vardorvis is going to be weak to water now.
No one's
Or
actually gonna
Vorkath
do
is going to be
that.
weak to water. Sorry, not Vardorvis. But yeah, so
Should be fire,
a ton of changes. Vardorvis is going to be weak to fire because he's undead.
just like Warcath.
A
Interesting.
bunch of changes. So if you, I guess, are just like camping a boss and these changes do come through, then you can, consult the list.
Yeah. That's a massive list.
Huge list. So at this stage, we've taken a very light touch approach to any flat armor antics, like I mentioned, and they're focusing more on traditional defensive stats, but they're going to keep a close eye on this because they're kind of just trying to add more levers that they've mentioned in the past to add or change difficulty in the future, I'm guessing.
I mean, I kind of like this though.
Yeah, I mean, more stuff they added that doesn't change the game now and then, might make it better in the future is cool.
I agree. Next up is loot table changes.
Speaking of making the game better.
Oh, you happy about them?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, my stance, I've said this in the past, is from PVM things, only alcohols should drop for the most part.
That's a hot take if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, obviously. Oh, also, maybe ammo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, maybe supplies.
So like food.
Cooked food.
Okay.
Yeah, specifically.
One of the main drivers behind an undertaking like this is an effort to bolster gameplay variety in the present and in the future. The primary goal behind tweaks to loot tables should be better setting up our delicate economy to provide more ebb and flow interactions, where players seeking profit are encouraged to move between activities as their gold output fluctuates over time. Does that mean that, I wanted to ask, does that just mean they don't want you to do the same thing over and over again?
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm like, that's how I read it.
It's kind of like how funny in this blog actually kind of like this is happening, like they're creating this because like the changes to TOA, now people are going to TOA because they're moving away from other stuff because this is now a better moneymaker.
Yeah.
So
we'll
guess,
get into TOA as its own section.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's what they're talking about is like based on current updates, but it kind of just seems like an impossible feat without constant updates.
I'm very interested in how this is going to go down, to be honest.
Yeah, they do say that another important factor is that some resource drops are just oversaturated.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously. This is stuff we've talked about in the past. For instance, like the best way to get rune essence, the last thing you want to do is actually go mine it. Literally the last thing.
Soul Wars is good though.
Soul Wars is good, and also Zulrah. Two of the best places in the game.
Soul Wars might not be good no more though. I'm just spoiler.
Yeah, but the sheer quantity and number of sources from items like chaos runes really devalues them and just makes it weak as GP per hour over time. Really just doesn't add to it at all. It's like, for instance, chaos runes have been at min high alch value since forever because you can get them from so many places, like especially early on, like Barrows gives a ton of them. So they're just not worth as much anymore.
I thought this one was such a good comparison because I noticed this change and I was confused.
Everyone's noticed this change.
Right? Usually I don't notice stuff like this, but I noticed this. So an example is, consider that Torstal Seeds used to sell for north of 50,000 gold at the GE.
Yeah, like if you found a Torstal Seed,
it was hype, bro.
You were more excited than a Renar Seed.
Yeah, I'd get that like Dagonauts whenever I was cannoning, and it's exciting. And now you don't even pick it up.
Because you'd be like, oh, Renar Seed 30k, then you'd be like, holy moly,
it's in blue instead of in the white color.
Yeah. Torstal drop.
So following the addition of Phantom Muspa and TOA, the supply of Torstal Seeds rose drastically, and they now fetch a comparatively meager 6,500 gold.
Pretty much.
Brutal.
arguably not worth picking up in a lot of cases.
Yeah. So the knock-on effect of this is that for a future table to have a good torsal seed drop, meaning one that's similar
It
gold
has to be like
value
a
to
million of
good.
them.
Yeah, exactly. It has to be a million of them. And that will just continue snowballing the plummeting price of torsal seeds. We can't just keep dropping more something without ruining certain economies, so we're forced to give players drops that may feel weak in terms of gold value, which leads to dissatisfaction. Torsal seeds are only one drop, but you can see that this is applied to every suitable drop we have in the game. We'd have a lot having core loot tables that don't feel very rewarding, and likely having to fill in gaps with alkables, which further inflates, which is not good.
Yeah. Like I said,
Now I'm understanding the economy finally.
I honestly think supply drops really mostly for the most part, except for rare exceptions, shouldn't come from bosses. Like skill stuff should be kept as skill stuff.
Well, where else do you even get torsals then? Just farming contracts?
Farming contracts, birdhouses, stuff like.
God,
Well, I don't,
they'd
yeah,
be so much more expensive. They'd
well,
be like a
not from
mill.
birdhouses, but yeah, from like stuff like that. Like maybe there's gonna be
It'd
like
be too
a
valuable.
specific like herb monster. It's like okay, thematically,
Oh, herbivore?
there's one guy that drops them or
Yeah.
something like that. Not like every single raid drops seeds. That's where you get your seeds from if you're an endgame player. You don't ever actually do anything related to herbs to get seeds. It
I
doesn't
do
make
have
sense.
a really good guide and video on farming contracts, by the way, if you guys want to go watch it in preparation for this in the future.
Yeah. But even outside of that, we are seeing like if you look at any of the more modern bosses, they don't drop one rune plate.
No, they
One
have to drop multiple. Otherwise, it's
dragon
nothing.
plate.
Yeah.
They drop like
5 dragon plate
all right,
legs.
you've done one round of CG. Here's 4 dragon hostas.
I
Like,
know. It's like, what?
brother, that's sick because that's like 500k. But like,
Because
also,
there's not a normal drop that's worth 500.
yeah, but also that's like insane.
Yeah, it is weird.
So I mean, we're seeing this more, and I think this should have been adjusted a really long time ago.
Yeah.
There may be some iron players that are obviously cowering in fear at these changes, but from an economic perspective, even a small nerf in the supply of something like torsal seeds from a handful of places can have a huge benefit on their value. And we reckon we can make economically significant changes without having irons feeling a squeeze or resource shortage.
They're not actually going to get rid of them at bosses.
Plus, I mean, I've said this a million times, you're playing a restricted account. Get over it.
Oh my God. Now that we're all on the same page.
As an iron, get over it.
Okay. You don't even play that much, though.
You don't play at all.
Oh, irons? Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Now that we're on the same page, you should be well equipped to read through all the specifics. There are too many to list here, and also too many for us to say out loud. So there is a spreadsheet if you want to go and look at all the nerfs, buffs, or more complex adjustments to runes, herbs, seeds, gems, and fish.
That's right. We're up to 2 spreadsheets already.
I'm not gonna lie, this spreadsheet is much more readable though. Like 30 lines tops each tab. Not too bad.
It's a spreadsheet with 4 tabs. It goes by things such as fish, gems, runes, herbs, and seeds. So you can see the proposed adjustment.
Gems are getting nerfed. A lot of them are getting nerfed. Runes are like half and half.
Yeah, it's just bringing them down to more reasonable things. And there are some buffs. For instance, the nerf would be Chaos Runes from Vorkath. Currently, it can drop up to 1,000. They're just bringing it down to 350, which is, I mean, it's still a lot. If you got 350, that's a lot. I mean, chances are you're going to get most of them from your...
No, it's... Oh, never mind. I misread it.
Yeah, most of them you're going to probably get from your runecrafting grind anyways, but this is just a little bit more. So, and there are going to be other buffs, not huge, but like from GG's, it's going to increase death runes from 100 max up to 130 max. So just small little buffs here and there, adding 30 soul runes as a rare drop to GG's as well. So it's like there's going to be additional stuff here. It's just, for instance, they're just going to be knocking down the 1,500 rune drops that you'll randomly get.
Yeah. There's also a tab on herbs and seeds too.
Yes. This is crazy though. they super nerfed some of the seed drops.
Oh yeah, I mean because they're not
from like
worth
TOA.
anything.
They're crazy from TOA.
Yeah, Toadflax, Bernard, Torso,
Why?
and Snapdragon are all getting nerfed because they're not worth them.
Why is there a 2,500 divisor value on Renar seeds from TOA?
I don't even know what that means.
It,
A divisor value, how many points?
yeah, so a divisor value is how many points you have divided by this value.
Oh, I don't like that. That's
Yeah.
too mathy.
So if you had
Get me outta here.
10,000 points, you would have received 7 Toadflax, but now it would be 5.
I didn't know that's how they measured it.
There you go.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Anyways, bunch of changes, kind of interesting. Obviously, none of these are going through right away or anything like that. They haven't said that. These are just, proposed things.
Yeah, it's the summer sweep up, and summer is not till June 20th.
Yeah.
So, two things to note as you're checking out the spreadsheet and just in general. So, shark chum is similar to diabolic worms being an anglerfish rate enhancer, except for sharks. Of course, I will not eat them. I feel like sharks would eat themselves though,
Yeah, probably.
don't they? It wasn't there like a video at like an aquarium, like a shark ate another shark.
I think it happens all the time.
Well, like at an aquarium is shocking because you can see it.
Oh, okay.
We believe this kind of significant rate enhancer should help add more value into gathering skills like fishing while still being profitable to sell on if obtained as a drop.
Also, wait, I was trying to wonder why you said that way, and you read the first sentence
Stop.
incorrectly.
No, I didn't.
So you said that you're acting as if you're saying the sharks aren't eating sharks.
Yeah. Like they're not eating shark chum?
They were just comparing it how diabolic worms are to anglers. Shark chum is to sharks.
Oh, so it doesn't work at anglerfish. Oh,
Yeah.
sharks do eat sharks.
Yeah, that's
I
what
knew it. I knew it.
No, shark chum isn't made of sharks.
I know. And oh, I
No,
thought it was made of sharks and then you feed it to more sharks.
no, it is
Do you like how I'm
chum.
like, I know? Because I
No,
didn't
It
understand.
is chum specified for shark consumption.
I thought it was chum made of sharks.
Yeah, they're just saying
Oh
it
my
works
God.
for sharks similarly, but it's not the
Just
same.
to be clear, a shark would eat a shark though. Chum
Yeah.
made out of shark.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's just put that out there.
No,
we don't
they
we don't
would.
know what the shark chum's made of. It could be made of sharks.
It partially probably is.
Exactly.
Yeah, shout out to sharks.
To be clear, we're not looking to roll out some kind of skill enhancer for every gatherable resource. We want to experiment with more of them for high level resources, specifically so that we can tone down on raw drops. Hate that they said it like that, but don't ever want to get to the point of players feeling like it's not worth doing this skill if we don't have the shark chum for blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I kind of,
that's what we talked about, not wanting stuff to be like the new meta if you add stuff like
yeah,
this.
I kind of agree that this is nice. I wouldn't want to go much further down this road because it's like, you don't want to be like, all right, cool. Now I have stocked up 55 hours worth of fishing. Let's go do that.
No, that's what they don't think that it's a big enough difference for people to do that.
I know, but I mean, if you think about it, that you're like, all right, I need these 3 different types of fish. I'll go do these 3 bosses because they drop 3 different enhancers that I need.
No.
Now I can fish for 10 hours efficiently.
I know what you mean, but only the most efficient people will be caring about that, I think.
I don't.
That's a lot of
I've
people.
seen that angler buff from Diabolic Worms is double XP.
Dang.
So I don't know about the rates, but I've seen it. I've seen people say it's double XP
Supposedly.
supposedly.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyways, notably absent from this list is Soul Wars.
That's what I talked about earlier.
This is something I would have made up, but this is actually what they said. In simple terms, we're more or less eviscerating the loot here.
I don't even go there by Love and Leagues.
Yeah, I can sum up this paragraph simply as they are giving it the Castle Wars treatment.
Yeah.
Most, if not practically all of the good drops no longer are on the drop table. Pretty much all of the stuff is going to be PvP related and
More in-game
ammo.
related.
Yeah, and ammo related. The pets are still going to have the same rate or
Everywhere.
at least time to obtain will remain the same, but they are more or less pretty much removing anything of value from Soul Wars.
Yeah. The pet thing, I wanted to note because I'm assuming they also mean pets will probably not change anywhere too, including Soul Wars.
Well,
I know that's related to Soul Wars,
what do you mean?
like because they're changing drop rates everywhere,
Yeah.
but they're not changing pet drop rates anywhere.
Well, I don't think they would have any pet changes. I think they just specifically said Soul Wars because they said they're eviscerating the loot.
Oh yeah, all I wanted to say was that they should change the God War Dungeon pet drop rates.
Why?
They're 1 out of 5,000.
Yeah.
Ew.
They still have incredibly expensive drops.
Yeah, but I'm not saying make them like
Oh,
2,500.
I
I'm
see
saying
why.
3,000 because I
'Cause-
want them.
Oh, because you only like going to bosses that have no good drops.
I've been going to Yama.
Oh,
I should
true,
slap
true,
you.
true.
I won't though. Not very violent.
Yeah,
But that was rude.
That is a crazy Crazy calm.
Anyway.
Anyways, we have Tombs of a Mascot. Tombs of a Mascot, obviously everyone's favorite raid they haven't done in years.
There's gonna be TOA on my raid or my bingo, so
Mark it down on your sheet of paper you're taking notes on for this podcast. Go back in time a few years ago and remember that I said they should have reduced the rates
I feel like
of
you
uniques.
said that like 2 weeks ago.
They should have reduced the rates of uniques here since the beginning.
Yeah, you've said that so many times.
Yes.
Okay. Old School's third raid feels like it was released only yesterday. It's almost been 3 years since it came out. I didn't believe that.
Go put it down.
I thought maybe 2. 3?
3. We're
Wow.
ancient.
I remember whenever it came out, we used to have like a little whiteboard calendar above Robert's desk, and I literally wrote Raids 3 release.
Loser.
I stayed up 24 hours to play it, and we did not get a KC. While we announced at RuneFest that Raid 4 is on the books for 2026, we want to make some adjustments to TOA and set up for success down the line. Basically, better late than never. And you know what? That's
Did you see that?
better late than
You
never.
kind of glossed over it.
For this,
Go up.
what did I miss?
I mean, they kind of just dropped kind of a big hint. They said that while we announced at RuneFest that Raids 4 is on the books for 2026.
Yeah,
I mean,
we did say that before,
oh,
but they didn't talk about it much.
yeah. I feel like they didn't have a date for it, did they?
I think they said 2026, and I said I bet it's going to take longer.
Oh,
You're probably thinking
I
of me
wasn't-
saying that.
I knew they had talked about raids, but I didn't know they had like a date for it.
Yeah.
Okay,
2026.
They probably did. I probably
Maybe
forgot.
December. I don't know. I
Yeah.
feel like that's going to take a while, especially with sailing still coming
It's definitely
out.
gonna be. It's definitely gonna be January 2027
Yeah, right.
at the earliest.
But TOA boss changes if you want to start.
Yeah, we're gonna start off with boss changes before we go over the loot changes. And
So many changes to TOA.
essentially, they're just allowing you to do Baba in a way that isn't just red Xing.
Red X is so boring and it takes so long.
Yeah, so they're fans of emergent gameplay, obviously alluding to red Xing.
They strip
but
say Red X.
But Baba currently is pretty dull and they like to change the pace of it. So there are a few changes coming its way. So Protect for Melee now mitigates all damage unless obviously the invocation, which reduces its effectiveness, is selected.
Baba spawns fewer baboons, which will die after 1 hit from any attack style. If Jungle Japes is turned on, then baboons will drop more bananas on death to account for the reduced number of them.
Dude, I do not know why, but Jungle Japes just sounds very sus.
Really?
I don't know why.
It sounds like jungle juice to me, like the drinks, like people mixing drinks.
Okay. And the next one is going to be Damage from Thrown Debris is now fully...
Why do you read it like how I would? Debris?
Yeah, it's
Debris?
Debris.
I'm trying not to cough. Sorry. I am
Nice.
still having a lingering cough.
Anyways, if you do get hit by thrown debris, it's now fully shifted onto anything you split the damage with, boulders and sarcophagi alike, which should make things less frantic.
Yeah, cool. We're hoping these tweaks make the fight feel more fair and make engaging with the mechanics feel more rewarding, which has been a struggle for players at higher level raid due to how much unavoidable damage Baba can dish out. It
Yeah.
is annoying.
I do not like chip damage. It's
Nothing
my
is
least
more annoying
favorite
than that.
thing.
It's fine if it's in like 2s and 3s.
Nope.
It's always like 12s. And I'm like,
I don't like it.
Anyway, moving on to Akka. And almost any other content, Akka's got enough going on that he's more than final boss worthy, perhaps a little too much. We want to tone down the intensity of the default fight a tad while maintaining Akka's identity so that he's more fun to interact with as intended if you've not sprouted your butterfly wings yet.
Yeah, butterflying for 10 minutes straight, not the most fun.
No. So you start?
Yeah, Protection Prayers now mitigate more damage.
The Stay Vigilant invocation is getting a small rework. The changes look as followed.
So Akka is going to swap styles whenever he uses a special attack.
Akka will use special attacks more often than the base variant. This will mirror the number of specials he uses at the moment with this invocation active.
And lastly, while Stay Vigilant is active, whenever he swaps styles, he'll respect the same predictable order as the base variant's overhead swaps rather than doing it randomly.
Yeah, I might finally go for perfect Akka now.
Yeah.
I've just been putting off because I'm like, dude, Akka kind of sucks.
Stay Vigilant is tough.
Yeah. Aside from Stay Vigilant, Akka now only prays against the style he's attacking with.
And Akka's stat drain effect now only affects combat.
Special attacks will occur every 7 attacks rather than every 6.
And
That one's
last-
going to throw people off, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. And also the number of wait, does special attacks occur every 7? I wonder if that'll affect the butterfly. I don't think so.
No, people just go the entire
Yeah.
time.
The number of orbs during Akka's enrage phase
We're not saying the other thing.
has been reduced.
Reminder that we have merch that has Akka's enrage phase on it. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Bunebape.com.
Ultimately, they're just trying to make the boss less scary and less requiring of the butterfly.
Yeah, and that you're not having to drink hella brews while butterflying all over. And
Yeah.
especially during the end phase. Oh my god, it's so annoying.
Yeah, and something that is, less of an oh shit boss, we have Kefri.
So we have far less to say than Bava and Akka, but we think we could address some of the biggest pain points with just a handful of tweaks, including lowering the magic defense of the Soldier Scarab.
This is a nice one. Scarabs no longer scale their defense with the raid level.
Arcane Scarabs are guaranteed to move after a certain number of attacks, regardless of those attacks hitting or missing.
Yeah, pretty simple.
Zabak's such a good boss, to be honest. Barely any changes. Waves no longer push the player back, but instead they deal around 30% more damage.
That is a lot more damage.
Yeah, but you know how it is now?
Yeah,
It keeps pushing and you die.
Kind of a death sentence.
It is a death sentence, Loki.
And lastly, Wardens. Skull bombs during P2 can no longer land underneath the active Warden or the Obelisk.
I've never had that happen, thankfully. That sounds really annoying.
True. Ooh, we can move on to the part that everyone hates.
Puzzle changes. So that's the bosses dealt with. Now let's talk about the puzzle rooms. We have a handful of tweaks here that should smooth them out a little and have you speeding through puzzles like never before, while also reducing variance attack in group play.
Yeah, so Cursed Baboons and Baboon Shamans on the path of Apmekin will always take maximum damage from ranged attacks, bypassing accuracy. Their HP will be increased slightly to compensate, but this should feel a lot better.
2 waves of monkey assailants will be removed from Path of Apmekin.
The amount of water required for the Path of Krondis no longer scales linearly with the number of players,
I like
meaning
this.
there's less pressure on your beginner friends to get it right or be stuck watching their cheeky crocodiles undoing all their hard work.
Everyone's seen that happen.
Yep.
The hit points on the obelisk on the Path of Het are slightly reduced so that 1 downs don't require boosting above 99 mining, because that's never fun.
True. Pretty good.
TOA miscellaneous changes.
These are
Holy
just
moly.
some quality of life stuff. So they added a big pot, or the big pot in the Nexus that's already there is a fully functioning deposit box
Dude,
now.
the way it is now sucks. You have to right click your item, click use it on that. Right click an item, click use it on the pot. It's bizarre.
Very cool.
Any drain stats will be restored at the end of a boss fight.
Very, very nice.
Yes.
And also smelling salts will reapply their boost as they expire. Really nice.
I think really nice, unless you're going AFK in between rooms and then you're just using your supplies.
Yeah,
So I
maybe
think that
just
should be
lock in.
toggleable.
Maybe just lock in.
Do you remember that time that I was doing TOA and I started to feel sick? My stomach hurt, so I had to end the stream, but I was still mid-raid. So Robert, they were waiting for me, and I was like, dude, no, I'm stuck in the bathroom. You try to go. And then I ended up coming out and trying to coach him on how to do wardens, and he got mad because I wasn't doing a good job coaching you.
Well, that's not a
I was
correct
sick.
story because it was already P3 wardens when you gave it to me.
I thought it was on part 2.
Nope.
It was on part 3.
Yes.
And I'm just sitting there scared that I'm gonna shit my pants, and I'm go right and left, and you died, and you were like, you weren't even telling me, and I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
That was really stressful. But anyway, they wouldn't want the salt to keep going that time.
Yeah.
That was such a stressful night streaming.
Those were all the changes to the actual raid. Honestly, just some general quality of life stuff for the most part. And then we have changes to the actual loot.
Yeah, you're probably so excited.
I mean, it's too late now.
You can
It's
be
been
excited
3
now.
years. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Before we start, it's important to say this is something we've had our eye on for a while.
For 3 years.
Probably. The changes above will make the raid faster, but we believe loot here is already problematic and don't want to hold off on making the raid better because we're apprehensive about making changes to loot.
So they already recognize that it's a problem.
You read this.
Okay, so on release, we received a lot of feedback around the higher level or higher raid levels not feeling particularly worthwhile, which we did act upon and likely overcorrected.
Yeah.
Add on top of that all the changes over the years and player skill improvement, and that higher raid levels are easier and easier. We have one of the best melee weapons in the game, sitting below 10 million GP. Like I mentioned, they're around 8 million GP for quite a while, and they're on par with literally any of the best weapons in the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the strongest rings in the game at around 2 mil. Lightbearer is so good.
Lightbearer is incredibly good, and it's even good for skilling. The only ring that's actually okay for
I use
skilling.
it like everywhere.
Very, very good. 2 million GP. That is for the price of less than a bond, you can get both of those items.
Oh yeah, not no more at least.
A smooth, whatever, how much it is, like $15. I don't know. So while it's not quite as drastic, if the Scythe Averter were sitting at a price of 20 million GP, we're sure you'd agree that this would be damaging for both the Theater of Blood and the wider game.
Remember before they buffed the scythe and it was worth 350
300 mil, yeah.
Wow, I'm so lucky I got
That's
it.
because it wasn't used anywhere
Yeah.
at the time. It was still good, not as good as it is now, but it just wasn't being used because it wasn't good at TOA.
Yeah.
Of course, the Fang isn't as good as the Scythe, but there are still many places where it shines or is a close second, pretty much everywhere. It might be the case that we waited too long to. What
this is what I wanted you to read.
What a joke of a sentence. It might be the case we waited 3 years too long to make a meaningful change, but we believe it's better late than never.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I guess so,
I don't think
dude.
they should never do it because of that.
They just have like a skin-eating virus on their leg for 3 years, and they're like, all right, I guess I'll get it taken care of eventually.
That's low-key like how my calls at work go. And I'm
Yeah.
like, why didn't you call before?
We waited far too long to make changes here. It's hard to take this
No.
entire paragraph seriously.
It's hard to have these conversations because they're always emotionally charged. You could tell Robert's getting kind of like upset and can be difficult to feel like we're riding the ship. But at this point, we've had more than enough time to reflect and understand the impact that TOA's unique rates and weightings have on the wider economy and on player progression.
Whoever's making this is a troll.
All that to say, we are looking to make some changes. Exactly what these are is not something we've landed on. We have options and we're open to suggestions, which is why we're asking you to talk to us about what you think could be the best path forward. We could swap the weightings of the Fang and Lightbearer with the Ward. We could reduce some of the loot scaling at the top end. We could blanket reduce purple chance across the board. There's a lot that we can do, so let us know what you think.
This is going to sound insane,
Sure.
but I legit think they should item sync 50% all of the fangs
Oh my god.
until it's at a good place. And
I
then
need
they
water.
should also double the rarity of all purples except for the shadow.
Bro, you're nuts.
Dude, that is
You're
what
actually nuts.
that is low-key what it would take.
You should respond to their surveys saying that.
That is what it would take to balance the rewards from this raid.
Oh my god.
It is one of the fastest raids.
I beg anyone who like interacts with the podcast never has before, you'll please reply or comment. Was that a good idea? And what would you want to balance it? Should they disappear half of them?
No, I said they should sink half of them until it's at a reasonable price.
Should they do that? By sink you mean when people sell it and it disappears.
Yeah, they should black hole half of them until it gets to a reasonable price, whatever that is. Maybe at least the same price as the rapier, because it is better than the rapier.
It is.
And the rapier is like in shambles. It cries every night.
I've never used it. I remember getting it during leagues and I was like, what's this good for? And people were like, nothing. And I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, how many rapiers have you seen?
I've never gotten one in my name.
Oh,
I've actually never gotten a top weapon in hundreds of KC.
how many have you seen though?
Probably like 3.
Yeah, not many.
They're split though.
Yeah. How many fangs have you seen?
My god. Hundreds it feels like.
Yeah. And then double that, and that's how many rings you've seen.
I've gotten 10 rings myself.
Yeah, exactly.
I just
Like
want a
if they
shadow.
doubled, okay, if they doubled the drop, or half the drop rate of the ring, you still would have 5. You realize that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I just have weird ring luck too.
Dude.
One time we got 6 back-to-back purples and I stayed up till like 7 a.m. because we were like, we have to do the back-to-back. They were all rings. And there was like 3 of them in my name.
Yeah.
Rings. All rings.
I mean,
They're a
this,
really good ring.
obviously this is kind of crazy because you're a ring person, but still, if they buy 5 times, you would still have 2.
Ew. Why would you say that? Gross.
Dude, it's crazy.
Oh
Like,
my
I'm not
God.
kidding. They should actually double. Obviously, scale it proportionally. The Fang should be rarer than the Ward. The Ward's useless practically everywhere. And yeah, and also, yeah, double all of them.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want, but that feels a little drastic.
I mean, you don't go there.
I'm going to.
Maybe it's because it doesn't pay.
No, I should go now though. If they change the dropper and everything.
Yeah.
Shadow's the only purple I haven't gone. Any other than the capes, I've gone all the transmogs, all the kits. Have not gone to Shadow.
Yeah. Unfortunately for you, the Shadow's the only thing worthwhile getting there.
I know.
You
Yuck.
low key lose money getting the other items.
Stop. Other combat and PBM focus changes. So they go over a few different bosses. We'll start out with Fasanis.
Yeah, so this is going to be a follow-up from Project Rebalance. If we...
You
Wait,
didn't read that
what?
right. It wouldn't be a follow-up from Project Rebalance if we weren't talking about Nightmare again.
Oh.
You read the beginning of it weird.
What a foul sentence.
No, it was actually a pretty funny sentence. You just read it wrong.
Okay, so anyways, we all know Fasanis is a difficult boss. Mechanically, it's one of the most enjoyable solo encounters
It actually
in the
is pretty
game for many
fun.
players, except... I mean, if they don't talk about reducing... They don't. Actually, I just glossed over it. They don't talk about
Did
the
you
rates.
not read this blog?
Who are you?
I didn't realize till right now.
I read this blog. Can I finish the
Yes,
sentence?
you can.
I was gonna say they don't even talk about reducing the drop rates.
They mention it briefly, saying that they're not going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, why don't they talk about making them 1 out of 100?
Well, okay, they get more into it. Well, we'll read the rest first. So Fasani's boasts loads of interesting attacks with clear telegraphs, can be killed in very budget gear with next to no damage if taken properly. If done properly. That said, the fight can drag a little with its 4 near identical phases before the finale. We reckon the pace of the encounter could be improved, so we want to outright remove one of the earlier phases from the fight. So that means you'll have 2 normal, a 3rd phase with the prayer disable mechanic, and then the final phase. We'd also be adjusting the CA's times to compensate, but don't know exactly what those times might look like at this stage. We will not be adjusting drop rates alongside this change. Our hope is that this fight just feels better, meaning you'll feel more inclined to stick it out for those big ticket uniques if you're rolling the dice more times per hour with a less fatiguing encounter. I just can't imagine that saves that much time.
I can't imagine anyone that has ever touched any of Fosani or Nightmare in any regard can do math.
Wait, what?
If they could, then they would see how absurdly asinine the drop rates are even after the change.
I get their point that you're going to be getting faster KC.
Bro, these Casey would have to be like
But
5 minutes.
One Inquisitor's piece is 1 out of 700.
Bro.
Huh? If you want a specific one.
Oh my god, this gear sucks, guys.
The Armor Mason Staff Drop Table has a 1 out of 143 chance to roll. The Orb has a 1 out of 533 chance to roll. This fight takes over 10 minutes, right?
No, not over 10.
Okay, but
regular
more than
Nightmare.
5.
Regular Nightmare takes over 10.
Okay, so let's see. Grandmaster time is 7 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's a long fight.
A good time is like 9.
Yeah, that's a really long fight.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, if we just did the, quick math, let's pretend it's a 10-minute fight and you go for one of the orbs. That's 1 out of 1,600. 1,600 times
If you
10.
need a specific one.
Are you going to spend 16,000 minutes going for a mediocre drop?
Gross.
Probably not.
Yeah.
No one goes to this boss.
I think that one will have a lot of feedback personally.
On top of that, this boss is actually, their actual loot table is adjusted to be appropriate, so you make no money going there.
It's not the best.
It
I
is-
only have 1 KC there.
It is infamous for being terrible. She is being way too generous.
Well, because
Wait,
I
go,
do.
go to the drop table. There's
Oh,
not
no.
there's not a single alchable. Look at it.
I was just gonna agree. I do think it is a very fun boss in general, though. I remember when I was learning, I was like, "This is frustrating," but I feel like once you get the hang, like this would actually be pretty chill.
Isn't this crazy? I wasn't
is
even
really
joking. There's
bad.
not a single alchable.
Yeah,
Not
that's weird.
Not even arrows.
That's really weird. Well, you can alch the Inquisitor if you stay there for 1,500 hours.
Dude, I would alch myself if I was there for that long.
Oh my god.
Um,
Next.
the next one we have next.
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 Yeah, there we go. I was like, say it like a thing.
Yeah, one of the foremost complaints about Next is that it is a brew simulator.
Yeah, everyone says it's a click yellow simulator.
Yeah, I mean, you're just taking damage the whole fight.
It's super
Literally the
annoying.
whole fight. You don't know when it's going to attack you or not attack you, and you're taking damage.
Chip damage the entire time.
Yeah, they're really long fights. They're actually really difficult to do in duo. I think as far as I know, the better group is like 3.
I think 3 is ideal.
Yeah.
I
Um,
usually just do mass because I cannot stand lone KCs.
yeah, and it's practically impossible to solo.
Hmm.
So, very, very annoying fight, honestly. But obviously it drops the best in slot gear, straight
Yeah.
up.
I
So,
still don't have Torva. I still want Torva.
yeah, this allows players, they're saying in skilled groups, you can reduce the incoming damage so long as they're well coordinated. This allows players to deal reduced damage past Nexus phase transition so that they don't run into the feels bad damage nullifying effects. This is the tweak that they're trying to do.
Oh, okay. Mass groups will likely hit these thresholds easily, but won't see noticeable reductions in kill time since they're already so fast. While in small teams, they'll be able to keep on hitting without feeling like they're completely wasting their time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're also trying to make the fight better by adjusting some of the behaviors during downtime phases to let players heal up without feeling punished, and will achieve this by letting players heal from damage dealt to Blood Reavers.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, they're open to further changes though.
So make Nex's melee attack a little stickier during all phases. Hate the word. This means that if Nex uses a melee attack, she'll use 2 more before swapping, similar to a change we made in Muddadals in 2023. I don't remember that Muddadals change.
Yeah.
I should look into that.
Also, additionally, they reduce the damage dealt by her magic attack in the final phase if you turn on Protect from Magic late.
Okay.
Meaning that if you're not praying already, you can still mitigate some damage. It's like, the difference between whenever the new bosses that they introduced into the
They
game,
hit you on impact.
yeah, hits you whenever the spell hits you, not whenever it's cast.
It's always so confusing. And then whenever I like try a new boss, I assume that everyone's like the new ones, where it doesn't count as damage till it hits you. And
Yeah.
that's not the case for a lot of things.
Yeah. I wonder, so they're saying for the very first change that I talked about, they're saying that they'll allow you to deal damage during transition because currently you can't.
Yeah, she's like pacing around.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a weird sentence.
We're not looking to drastically adjust Nex as a fight, but think that providing more avenues to reduce incoming damage might make things feel a little more engaging without trivializing the encounter entirely. Let us know what you think about these, especially if you are a fan of 2 to 5 group Nex.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to do it yet.
I still feel like they should add, with a boss like this, low key feel like they should add like a soloable version. That's
I don't
what
know.
they did with Nightmare.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the whole reason they added it.
That is true. I was kind of thinking that it's kind of like when people like, solo top, like it's kind of like a flex.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
don't know if
it would still be there.
Yeah, that's true.
It was just like, I don't know, double, half the rates and then make it soloable.
Fasani's Nex.
Yeah. I don't know.
Nex is Nightmare.
Yeah. Nextmare.
Nextmare.
Anyways, I think those are kind of good changes. It is kind of an annoying
I think that
boss
is actually
fight.
a good one, yeah.
So the next one is going to be Huey.
Yeah, so this was actually semi-recent.
Yes,
Yeah.
semi-recent. Honestly, these are a lot of really good changes.
Yeah. So to start with, we want to improve the tail phase a little. They're not, by the way, they're not changing the mountain size. It is not a mountain, it's still a hill.
Yes, it is very small.
To start with, we'd like to improve the tail phase a little with clear visuals and bringing down the tail's hit points so that you can get back to hitting Huey in the face and body again. Sometimes, I would not know. I would just keep hitting Huey and not see the tail. So that'd be appreciated.
Yeah. They say what's a little more complicated is figuring out who Huey is for. No one currently.
Unless you want the pet like me.
Yeah. As far as unique equipment drops go, you can snag yourself a DH wand and some Huey hide to make a nifty set of armor. The problem with the wand is it is useful nowhere, is what they meant to write. And dragons aren't killed all that often before or either. Or,
Just read the whole sentence. You twisted it a little
they
too
say
much.
dragons aren't killed all that often either beyond draconic bosses like KBD, Vorkath, Alchemical Hydra, or Ulm. And by the time you're tackling these foes, then you're likely sporting better gear to boot. This makes it a niche weapon that's on the weaker side, which is also a hefty grind for Huey's target audience. So, yeah, like I said, it's not used anywhere.
So we want to boost the wand's power, improve its drop rate, and make some adjustments to Huey's side too, so that sits in better spots for all kinds of players who Huey is aimed at. To achieve this, we want to do the following.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna say the things the way I want to say it. I don't like the way they say things.
Okay, sure. Sometimes you just say like the opposite of what they said.
Well, yeah, it's because
that's your
it's
vibe.
because I'm trying to read what they're saying, and it's just I don't read English.
Like England or just in general?
Just in general.
Just
I didn't read
I'm
my own
staring
language.
at these letters. These are just lines.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Like I understood what it said, but like re-saying it in like the correct English is just like
He is
nah.
wearing a tiny headphone, and someone is behind. Goose is behind the green screen, whispering
Yeah.
what the blog says.
Because like I can read all the stats and stuff like that easy.
I could read the English well because sometimes you would try to make like you try to read it and like sum it up, but you accidentally say the opposite of what they said, and I'm like, that's not
Well, my initial
true.
my initial summation was accurate. It just sucks, and they were just saying all the places it sucked at.
They didn't really say it like that, but it's fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you buff something by 100%, it's not very good, which is what they did. So they're boosting the wand's power and improving its drop rate. So its bonus damage versus dragons is up from 20 to 40%.
Bonus accuracy versus dragons is increased from 50 to 75%.
And it can now auto cast ancients. This one's not all that useful against dragons, obviously, but it might extend your trips with blood barrage.
Yeah. It also says it's a pretty nice starting point to get used to those burst barrage slayer tasks, which
Yep.
took me a weirdly long time to start doing. I was intimidated. Don't know why.
True.
Make the one 3 times as common. That's maybe a little too common. Meaning you'd see one in
That's
around
still a lot of kills.
around every 69 kills rather than around every 207 if you're soloing. Using numbers from the Osrs wiki, loot tables for group bosses can be confusing at times. This is probably the easiest way of showing the change.
That is crazy. That is still really high.
It is 69 kills though.
Imagine a group
I
of
don't know.
5
Yeah,
players.
I don't know how long a solo would take.
A group of
so.
5 players. That's still 400 kills almost.
Yeah, that's fair.
That is huge. And this wand still kind of sucks. So they say they improved the drop rate of the Huey hide as well from 1 in 35 to 1 in 30. So slight improvement. And upon receiving the drop, you'll always get 3.
I think that's already a thing.
No, I think it has a range.
Oh, I just happen to get 3.
Yeah.
Lower the crafting requirement of Huey hide armor, meaning it's easier to make than black D hide, but is harder to obtain. I don't know why it was harder to make than black D hide.
Crazy,
I don't
bro. They made this item for no one.
Because black D hide's like weirdly high, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also you can get black D hide from
Everywhere.
mobs.
Yeah.
Like the fully crafted thing from mobs.
Yeah, it's not worth much.
Yeah, coupled with the Great Olm being given an elemental weakness now, we think this should position the Dragon Hunter wand as a much more impactful unlock. Maybe you'll actually go there and get it now.
I just want for collection logging.
I don't know, because it deals increased damage, sure. I'd have to look at the stats of it, and it has higher accuracy, but also Olm already has the weakness now.
I mean, it even says on here, it'll still get outperformed by higher tier powered staves later on in your journey.
I wonder.
It's going to be good mid-level
how
for a
much
little
later.
bit.
Like, the thing is, you have to think about it. I'm guessing they're not only alluding to the shadow, and they're probably alluding to the toxic trident,
No, yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
which is like,
Shadow outperforms everything.
I'm like, sure, that has a high slayer requirement, but also I'd rather do 10,000 KC split between Kraken and Zulra than do the required KC at Huey.
Huey's kind of fun though. Not that fun.
Yeah. I was like,
What's
don't
fun
know.
about Huey is knowing I might get that little pet.
Yeah.
I really like that pet.
Yeah.
What's it, Hubert?
Yeah, it's just honestly, it's just not that incentivized. It's still not that. It has to rival other grinds like the one I just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
It's like high slayer requirement, sure, but that's an item you'll use at so many places in your journey. The
That's
the
true.
toxic trident is used everywhere.
It is such a niche item.
And it's like, all right, let me do an equivalent grind. You know, obviously I'm making up numbers just for one boss. Or for one type of enemy.
I kind of wonder if maybe they should have waited for in the future to do a Dragon Hunter wand to make it as powerful as the other Dragon Hunter stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of seems like maybe we might have jumped the gun, like we're too excited about having something Dragon Hunter.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense that's not the same level as the other two.
It's also tough. They honestly put themselves in a really bad spot because the thing is they shouldn't have been comparing it to the difficulty of the boss. They should have been comparing it to the accessibility of and the impact of the other Dragon Hunter weapons. If you get a DHL, one, that's not something you really are like grinding for. That's just like, I'm at Hydra, let me get it.
I feel like you grind for that. I know a lot of people haven't gotten it yet.
You underestimate how strong the Fang is.
The Hydra's thing? Wait, what are you talking about?
The regular Fang. The Fang is a stab weapon.
Oh, do you take that to Hydra?
No, you take that to any dragon. That's where you'd bring the DHL.
Oh.
You can just bring a Fang and get like 90% the results of a
Oh,
DHL.
I still borrow people's Dragonheart stuff whenever I can.
No, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I guess I'm saying like as an account is progressing, you're gonna have a Fang. You're not gonna be like, let me do this giga grind at Hydra for a DHL.
Okay, I thought you were saying it's easy, and I was like,
No,
it's
no, no,
not.
no, no. I was just thinking. I'm like putting into perspective of grinds. Like the DHL is really good. I'm saying it's good. It's obviously best in slot for a lot of dragons. But I'm saying like that grind is like comparable to the wand grind, and the wand is worse.
Yes.
Just straight up in every
Yeah,
way.
I think that the wand should be the same version of the stats for mage, but I don't think it should come from something that's easy compared to like Hydra and Chambers.
Yeah, I feel like it should
But-
be tiered the way it is now, where it's like, you know, Dragon Hunter Cross is top tier for a lot of dragons.
Mhm.
DHL is right below it, or even competes with it. And then I think the wand should honestly be like just a step below that, where it's like
Mhm.
obviously worse, but probably better than everything else
Yeah.
because it's a dragon weapon.
They just kind of like, I'm trying to think how they can fix it. Make this one not a Dragon Hunter one. Maybe give it that
I don't know.
elemental power, like for Earth or whatever for dragons,
Yeah,
and save the Dragon Hunter for the next raid.
maybe. Yeah, because as it stands, it's just still no one's gonna go for that.
It's just weird to me that Dragon Hunters are some of like the best ones, except for this one for some reason is much lower.
Yeah,
And that just feels weird.
because it's also like they're trying to turn it into a chase item because you're not going to go there for anything else.
Mhm.
Like they can increase the drop rate of that Huey stuff, of the you know, the armor or whatever, but it's like one, that stuff's not even that good
It is
realistically. And it's like, so if that stuff's not that good, you're only there for the wand. The wand better be damn good,
Yeah.
which it's not.
I just want the pet, obviously.
Yeah, of course, of course. I don't know. It's better, obviously. It's just still not that good.
I thought you might be interested in the next one. I thought you'd probably like it.
Maybe.
Okay, so Perilous Moons and Defensive Rings.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. Most of what we're looking to here is just a little quality of life pass. We want to improve the click boxes of the moons themselves, which are kind of tilting sometimes. We also want to take another pass at the fishing and hunter activities within this area since they can be a little buggy from time to time. For some more specific changes, the most impactful here.
You can get it literally buggy.
Oh, because they're bugs that you're catching.
No, I was just joking. I don't know if they meant it.
I think there is little bugs, right?
No,
Or are they
there
lizards?
is. No,
No, you catch bugs.
You catch bugs
And they get prayer
to
up.
feed to the lizards.
I usually do the fishing. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh no, you just catch the lizards with rope. Never mind.
Oh, and you catch the bugs to your prayer up then.
Yeah,
There's a lot going on. It's
Yeah,
very
kind of a lot.
self-sustained. It's very pretty.
it's cool.
I like it.
Yeah,
For some more specific, the most impactful is reducing the number of tornadoes during the Blue Moon Special Brazier phase. Brazier. As it stands, there's an awful lot of tornadoes, which deal some damage, heal the boss, and contribute to getting you chilled, which means most players, myself included, just stand in the middle and wait for the phase to be over.
yep.
So they want to tone it down a little bit so players will actually engage with the content. I love that.
Okay.
Love engaging with content.
Yeah, I guess. So they say, while not strictly related to the Moon's apparel, we'd also like to explore adding a new reward to aid players getting into it. Offering powerful armor sets and weapons in all three styles, the Moons have become a staple progression point for many players. But even with damage mitigating strategies like step unders, it's still possible to take a real beating here, even while wearing your tankiest gear.
Remember you getting real upset.
That's because they added lifesteal to one of the bosses, which is really dumb still.
Mhm.
That being said, honestly, now that like I understand the bosses, they're
Not as bad.
pretty much a joke. I don't know how I feel about this ring that they're adding. Kind of don't like it. So they say that this might step on the toes of the Ring of Suffering a little.
It's a defense focus ring.
Yeah.
I don't know if we even specify.
No, I was going to get into it after I
Oh,
talked
okay.
about the Ring of Suffering. So this is similar to the Ring of Suffering in that it only provides defense bonuses, no prayer, no melee strength, no range strength, no strength at all, no attack increases, accuracy, nothing. Just
Purely defense.
only melee defense as well, not even magic or ranged, which it would have been really nice to get extra magic or range because that is really lacking early on, but you know, whatever. They do say that with its value being largely tied to other Zenite rings, going back to the Ring of Suffering, we're pretty confident this shouldn't harm the Ring of Suffering's position in the game. Yeah, mostly because it's used primarily for its recoil.
Yeah, that's the only thing. I didn't even realize that it was mostly defense.
Yeah, it's
Actually,
only
it's for recoil.
for anyone that doesn't know. Yeah, Ring of Suffering is only defensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So since we're on the topics, it does have high prayer bonus though. So since we're on the topics of defense oriented rings, we think the granite ring could stand to be a little bit stronger when considering its source.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of nothing.
Kind of tough to get. So we'd like to bump its numbers up a little bit as well. Yo, it is not very good.
They used to be 2, now they're 4.
Yeah. Who is wearing this? What a cursed ring.
I think if you get from Grotesque Guardians, then you're like sick.
Who's
Otherwise,
gonna
no one.
imbue it?
Stop.
Why would you?
Don't
6
judge them.
While the granite ring is imbued, the buffed version, it'll give you 16 ranged defense. That is like one leg of an armor.
Anyway, I wanted to say as well, because we almost forgot, for the defense ring, they think it would come from Deranged Archaeologist randomly.
Wait, what?
Did you not see that?
That is so dumb.
Yeah, giving some use to a boss that doesn't offer much at the moment, Deranged Archaeologist.
He offers actually incredibly
The runic
good
limbs,
stuff.
right?
No,
I think the wrong one.
That is the other one.
There's so many deranged, crazy
The deranged
people.
archaeologist is not the crazed one, and he drops the black d'hide.
What?
Yup.
Oh, this is the one at Fossil Island.
There it is.
Oh, there is Black D'hide.
Black d'hide body.
Oh, I thought he does
And he drops
do runic
prayer
limbs
pots.
as well. Okay, cool.
Oh, he does? Wait,
Yeah.
when did they add that?
It's been there because I went there in leagues.
No way.
I went there in leagues. I swear it.
I don't believe it.
2020.
Oh,
2020 he
so it
was telling-
recent. 5 years ago.
Anyway, next up.
That's crazy. I honestly thought it was only the crazed that
I don't
dropped it.
want to call you out, but you're the one who told me about that.
Did I?
Yeah, you were doing it once. And you told me.
Oh, okay. No, wait. Never mind. Crazed drops a full rune cross.
Maybe.
It does. No, he does. That's why people go there and not here.
Okay.
And he can actually drop 2 rune crosses.
And that one's in the wilderness, though.
Yes.
Okay. Next up, you were talking to me about this on your break earlier.
Tragedy.
No.
Tragedy.
Okay, you misled me. I'll say that. You misled me.
Tragedy.
Obor, Briofita, and Keys. This is something we wanted to do alongside Royal Titans, but didn't have the time to implement. So it's no secret that the key system used to fight Obor and Briofita is not the most well-liked, particularly if you're gated out of CAs because you've not done your shift at the Moss or Hill Giants. On the flip side, their uniques are valuable for the tier players that they're aimed at and would likely plummet in value if they were freely attainable. Plus, it's nice to have the occasional oh cool moment if you're on a Slayer task. That means we need to find a new way to open the bosses up a little, protect their uniques, and retain some use case for keys that players might already have or obtain in the future. Here's what we've cooked up.
Yeah. So they say that Obor and Briofita no longer require a key to be fought.
They can drop their own respective keys still.
And to compensate, each of them is given a reduced simple loot table.
This loot table is similar to the regular Giants variant with a chance at giant bones if you're in members for a chunk of prayer XP when buried. They can't be offered to altars, and an increased chance for each boss's respective key.
Inside of each of their layers is a chest, and it requires a key, giant or mossy respectively, whose loot table is the same as the existing one. This chest can only be opened after the boss is defeated.
I'm not totally opposed to it,
Nope.
but it's going to lower the value still.
Yep. Don't like it.
I think as long as you have the increased chance of keys from the bosses, these bosses take like 15 seconds.
Yep.
It's going to go so down in value unless it's crazy rare. Like the main way of getting it should still, I think, be from the regular mobs.
Yep. Don't like it.
But other than that, I mean, I don't mind it. I don't mind that you can still do the fight for CAs.
Yeah. Just, I think they should probably make the mossy keys 25% more common and the ones from Hill Giants like 35% more common.
Yeah, I've got a lot more mossy. Well, you can cannon them.
Mossy's way more common. You can cannon them, and this would obviously increase the drop rate from the wilderness version, which, if you don't know, is double the rate.
Yeah, it's way better.
So it's way better. And that's why I had the higher percent for regular Hill Giants, because those just take forever.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is going to be Cerberus.
Do you want to read their joke?
Yeah, who let the dogs out? Fortunately, not the Keymaster. He's got Cerberus under lock and key, ready for your Hellhound Slayer tasks.
You did not read in like a fun-loving voice. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's funny. You know that song, Who Let the Dogs Out?
It's about ugly women.
It's about ugly dog-faced women.
That's so misogynistic. That's crazy. I didn't find that out till a couple years ago, and I was like, what?
Yeah, huge.
I thought they were just little dogs running amok.
Yeah, they are. In the club.
Don't say that. Do you remember Jersey Shore? What would they call the women on it that they thought were ugly?
Oh, grenades.
Insane. They just said that on TV. That's so rude. Oh my God.
Over the years and over the course of many millennia, Hellhound Slayer tasks, it's become clear that Cerberus isn't everyone's cup of tea. I
I think it's fun.
I think everyone gets
like
used to it.
Cerb.
They're like 30-second KCs or something. But we reckon a few small tweaks could improve the field boss. So they adjusted the lava pool attack. So honestly,
This is fair.
I'm not even going to read this stuff.
I will.
First off, I will read it. But
Okay.
first off, they should simply just make the boss how it was in Leagues.
The Awakened version?
Yes.
That was fun.
One,
That was
it's
really
more
fun.
fun. And two, it doesn't punish you for playing the boss correctly like the current one does.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to be the same as League.
I do know, and it would be better. For anyone that doesn't know, if you play the boss correctly, you just get dumpstered in prayer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the reason it was different leagues is because you killed it before that.
No, that's not
I
true.
did.
In Leagues. Oh, no, I was talking about in the Awakened version?
Yeah.
In the Awakened version, you don't lose prayer when you tank the ghosts.
Oh, you don't? Well,
No.
they did change it.
Yeah. For anyone that doesn't know, whenever you tank ghost hits, even with the correct prayer on, you lose prayer. That's why people bring the correct shield here, because it reduces the amount that you lose.
And if you tank with the wrong prayer, you're out of prayer.
You lose everything.
You're out of prayer.
Yeah. So the difference was in Leagues, if you prayed correctly, you didn't lose any prayer.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's why I liked it so much. I honestly was dreading going into it because I thought it was going to be like regular serve, but it wasn't. So they also want to adjust the lava
And this
pool
is the main
attack.
game now.
Yeah, in the main game. They want to adjust the lava pool attack so that it's easier to react to or predict, reducing their radius so that they only deal damage on the tile where they're spawned.
That will make it a lot easier for that CA. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Slightly improve the drop rate of Keymaster teleport scrolls so that's more feasible to break even if you're doing extended trips.
Yep. And they make Keymaster teleport scrolls tradable in line with other teleport scrolls.
No reason for it to not be.
True.
Adjust Word of Arceus to provide reduce incoming prayer drain from demons by 30%. This is targeted at Cerberus's ghost attack, but has uses to other demons too.
Yeah, Word of Arceus is a spell in the Arceus spellbook, obviously.
Yeah, I like that they're making more spells useful though.
Yeah,
They did the
because
same at Yama.
it's taken a long time.
Yeah, barely than ever.
This one actually stems from a player suggestion they thought was cool and cropped up while writing this post.
Sick.
And they'd rather give players active solutions to problems than just remove them entirely. Cerberus has been killed hundreds of bajillions of times, and most primordial seekers have long since recovered from their prayer potion squeeze. This stacks with the spectral spirit shield, which is the spirit shield I mentioned earlier. It reduces the amount of prayer that gets taken from you if you're lucky enough to own one.
I really like those changes. I think that those are nice.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I don't know if it should be removed entirely, but
Reduce though.
I don't like the fact that you get punished for doing the boss
Well,
correctly.
I like the fact that they're having the Word of Arceus now because then you can still bring thralls. I
Yeah.
don't even know if you use any spells there really. You might use High Elk though. You have to bring your ring, Explorer's Ring.
Maybe. He doesn't even drop that many alchables, honestly. It's a lot
Yeah,
of
I feel like you
supplies.
don't use much spells there.
Yeah. The next one's going to be Duke Suck.
I knew you were gonna say it like that.
Yeah. No preamble needed. This Duke sucks. So let's talk about
They
the prep.
don't say that.
Let's talk about the prep phase, which actually really does suck.
Yes. So in the latest league, we effectively allowed players to prep infinitely, which we think made sense given the speed of kills made possible during leagues. For the main game, we do not think that infinite prep is the way to go. Before you raise your pitchforks, hear us out. And I will say this is valid because I was a little upset at first.
The prep sucks.
I think it makes sense though. This isn't a case of us wanting to see you suffer, but Duke as an encounter was designed with both the fight and the prep phase in mind. We don't think the fight alone holds up well enough that makes sense to an absolute boatload of prep and repeat a super simple fight over and over without the variety of a low spot of gathering. It's a really easy fight.
Yeah, you're just like,
It's not a Grandmaster Quest fight if you're not doing the prep.
you're just gathering all the stuff, and then you just run back and forth, punching him in the head until he dies.
Yeah. So, I mean, that makes it make sense to me.
Yeah.
But having said all that, we do think we could have a better balance. So we want to propose letting you prepare for 3 kills in advance. Just as a little treat, they're going to give us 3. Meaning you can hold enough raw resources to produce 6 vials of the poison. That means you can also do a slightly longer prep phase to set you up for a number of kills, which should be at least a step towards reducing the time spent preparing for players who aren't a fan.
Nope.
That also means that it'll be easier for you if you're trying speedrunning.
I feel like this has a very easy solution. You just make it so you're incentivized to prep more than one, and that would be way better.
What do you elaborate, please?
Let's say it is requiring, I don't know, and a certain amount, it doesn't matter, honestly, a certain amount less materials for the second and third potion. So the prep is even faster.
Oh, so you'll still prep for every KC, but maybe it'll get a little easier.
Yeah, they're all like, all right, you want to prep for 1? Cool. You want to prep for 2? Damn, that's going to be like 30% faster. You want to prep for 3? That's 60% faster.
Okay, so if people do prep, they're going to reward you.
Yeah, maybe,
okay, I get that.
Maybe it's like, we want you to be here, and if you are going to be here for a while, then you're going to save time.
That's okay.
Because then you're like, wow, this sucks way less. People are already down in the dumps on this boss. Just make it not suck, and they'll be going back.
Fair.
So
naturally this means that kills power will increase, so we'll be bumping Duke's hit point up by 10% to compensate, since we think that the time to complete's a reasonable position so right now and doesn't need much speeding up.
You are inside out the movie out of your mind.
Why?
That is crazy.
Why?
Bro, pull up the Virtus robes.
Okay,
Pull
no,
it
I
up.
don't need to. I don't need to. It's like 1 out of 1,000.
You're crazy.
It's like 1 of 1,000. They're crazy rare. I almost added them to the bingo thing, and then I said to someone, and they're like, "Don't even bother."
Bro, you are a buffoon.
That is so
Holy
funny.
moly. Other changes. What a laugh. Other changes. So wow.
These ones are more random.
Yeah, we've taken the time to give a little more detail on the headlines. We have a handful of other changes that aren't headline worthy, but they need some explaining. So they increase the range of the, this is called the Glaive of Ralos. Why did they change the name?
They call it both.
So they increased the range by 1. This sounds small, but I mean, not really.
No, I feel like that actually is impressive.
Yeah, it's like a 18% increase or something. But should open up some new use cases and improve existing ones for the strong but niche spec weapon.
Allow halberds to hit flying enemies like Avioncies. I like that.
Finally, they allow Demon Bane weaponry to work on the Ice Demon at the chambers. Nice. Fire Surge should still remain the best, but if you want to, you can do this too.
Add some kind of indicator drop for successful this is huge, by the way.
Crazy.
Add some kind of indicator drop for successful rolls on the vestiges dropped by DT2 bosses. Each vestige, if you will remember, requires 3 invisible rolls going on behind the scenes. We want to add some kind of drop, maybe a gold ring that lets you know when you've hit a roll in the vestige. If you've already hit 1 or 2 out of 3 rolls, you'll receive an indicator of your progress on your next kill. Effectively, this doesn't change anything about how soon you'll get it, but now you're actually gonna know how close you are.
So stupid.
we've been talking about that since it came out, how we hated that.
So dumb.
I'm like, why would you not let us know somehow?
I don't know why they don't just change all these dumb things.
They are.
Yeah, like
a little late.
Yeah, like people's grandsons have like grown up and died as well. That's how long it takes them. Players with the Grandmaster Combat Achievement completed will be able to show their Zuck helm to the Tsar and gain on-task damage bonus with any of the other on-task without any of the other on-task benefits for those speedrunners.
The Grandmaster CA reward that increases the duration of summon thralls to 2 minutes will be moved down to Master. Huge news because I'm almost done with Master.
Wow.
This is probably the reward that feels the most impactful and the most frustrating of the rewards to lose on a new release. So we want to bump it down to alleviate frustrations from GM players and make something that feels impactful just a smidge more attainable.
Yeah.
Obviously, I like this because I'm close to getting it.
Lastly, they tidied up magic attack animations, spells, and powered stabs alike in PvM scenarios so that they don't visually delay the player's movement.
You do kind of freeze for a second, don't you?
I guess
And your
so.
true tail's like, ooh.
Yeah.
But that is it. There's loads to unpack here. Lots of discussions to be had. Go let them know what you think on their Discord, all that. I thought they had a survey for some reason. It's not actually a survey here.
Yeah.
Discord, Reddit, Steam forums apparently is a thing that they look at.
No.
Go let them know what you think.
And
Overall, I'm happy.
Since we're at the bottom looking at all the mods, if anyone wants to play a game, you can go through and check all the mods listed here and compare it to all the mods listed in the past and future updates, and you can see who got laid off recently.
Oof.
They
Big
did have a round
rip.
of layoffs over at Jagex.
Do they always put people's names?
Whoever worked on the project.
Oh,
That's
okay. So
actually
maybe
what-
not everyone.
That's actually what Aiza said.
Oh, okay.
He said he's not allowed to say if anyone got fired, but you can look at the mods list if you actually want to find out who got fired.
But I wonder because there's some people I thought still worked there that I don't see on the list. So I'm just
Not everyone works on every project, so you'd have
So-
to actually scour multiple blogs.
we could kind of guess who was laid off, but we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out Mod Donkey. I like your name.
Shout out Mod Manked. I'll never forget the world boss that never was.
Wait, stop. What's it called again? I just thought of it.
The big worm, dude. That's all he was.
The Wildy Worm. What was the Wildy
Big
Worm?
worm.
And people were mad
Dang.
that they changed their RuneScape name to it.
Yeah. Dang.
R.I.P.
Rest in peace for sure. That's hilarious.
Moving on.
Hey everyone, it's the next day, and we have a ton of actually stuff that we just talked about got updated.
Yeah, it was good timing that we stopped right there because immediately after there is a follow-up blog that came out today for the summer sweep up.
Yeah, I unfortunately was twerking very hard today, our busy season
Busy
as
at
it is.
work.
So I didn't get to read it, but luckily Michelle did, so she can update us on what we just talked about being already updated yet again.
Yes. So you're saying we're pleased to see so many of you excited about rolling out elemental weakness system across more NPCs. We know that some choices feel a little up for debate for some players, but we're not looking to make any changes here at all. We'd love to explore whether it's possible for us to implement multiple weaknesses at the same strength so that both of the things that could make sense would work. For example, gargoyles could be a nice candidate for earth and air, though it's not currently possible. The only change that we're making is Vorkath to be a fire weakness rather than water weakness, as he is a zombie that is frozen.
Yeah.
We were talking about that, so I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, it's funny because I obviously haven't read this, so I'm critiquing it in real time. In their second sentence, I thought it was hilarious. Well, one, they asked for feedback, and two, they said, we know that some of the choices feel a little up for debate for some players. It feels that way because you made it that way. Like,
Also, I thought that they wanted it.
yeah, exactly. You asked for us to debate on this.
Whatever. I mean,
But we're not making any changes. Well, then why ask for feedback, brother?
maybe they didn't like our feedback.
And they're like, we're not making any changes. Proceed to tell us the one
The
change
change that they made. Yeah, it's kind of. I caught that as well.
A little silly. You could have just like, why did they do this? Just
They're
delete the first
silly.
paragraph. You could have jumped into it and just been like, we're changing Vorkath. And I would have been like,
Well, they also wanted to acknowledge the combo thing, which is interesting. I didn't even consider that.
yeah, the combo thing is kind of cool, kind of interesting. And I like that they could add that in the future. But yeah, just get rid of all these frill sentences.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, they are changing Vorkath, which is good.
Yeah. More significantly, we would like to add a low-level spell to the standard spellbook, which would be Monster Inspect. So this is similar to Monster Examine, but it will reveal only the monster's stats and elemental weakness. This means that players just starting out aren't as reliant on tabbing out to visit OSR's wiki, and newer players have a more intuitive way to learn about the different weaknesses of different monsters early into their journey, as opposed to waiting for the Lunar Spellbook. By the time you get your Lunar Spellbook, like, I was already very familiar with the wiki, never even used that spell in my life. If it was in standard, I might have used it.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was as well. That being said, I mean, this is cool. I think it's a waste of time, honestly.
Yeah.
No one's going to use this. I would be surprised if more than literally a dozen people ever use this.
I don't know. There's so much
legitimately.
people who, like, just play it so blindly,
Yeah.
like how I used to, so maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But even the thing is, this game is unique in that the wiki is so integrated with the game. They even tell you in the game when you first join to go to the wiki.
They do now. They used to not.
Yeah. So it's like, the people are going to get directed there, and chances are they're going to discover it naturally because they're going to be like, where am I going? What am I doing? Oh, I want to do this boss. Oh, what's on his drop table? Oh, this boss has strategy guides. Oh, he's weak to this.
I don't know. Like, I agree with all that.
Yeah,
But like looking at mobs, I think is something that new players wouldn't think to do.
sure.
I never did it. So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is something I would have potentially used whenever I started playing.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't intuitive, but also I just don't know how intuitive Monster Inspect would be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I've never
They're not
played
even
a.
gonna know that elemental weaknesses are a thing.
Yeah, it's so unusual, like in like video game space in general, that like I would never, as a gamer, be like, oh, let me monster inspect this guy. I might find weaknesses. Like maybe if it was something I was having difficulty fighting,
Yeah.
maybe, but I don't know. I'm sure someone will use it. I just don't really think it matters.
Okay.
Yeah.
They do want to remind everyone spellbook reordering is allowed by verified third-party clients now, so you can move it to the end of your spellbook. You don't have to worry about it ruining your muscle memory. Last up, they removed the negative flat armor from Zamfir. That's something from Kingdom Divided, I guess. So that's become a staple achievement for 10 hit point accounts, and thralls are a complete game changer. But giving Zamfir negative armor means that they're forced to gain more hit points XP. Since he's not a repeatable boss or anything, we're just going to leave him as is.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Because I think I mean, I didn't even realize, but yeah, if he had the -10, that means that it would just take forever to kill him.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, because I mean, I guess the way it worked is if he had -10, that means that I'm the way I understand it is
It
that just
confused me a little bit, I'm not going to lie.
that just meant that you would deal damage -10, which
Oh, is that what it
means you'd never be able to kill him.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember. Whenever you were reading it, I honestly didn't understand, and I was thinking in my head, I just need to see how that is in game.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm guessing they would force him to get more hit points XP. I mean, obviously, let us know if you understand how this exactly would work.
The
But
flat armor was weird. That's why I purposely didn't say a lot about it, because I didn't really understand it.
yeah, the way it makes it seem to me is Zamfir just you wouldn't be able to deal damage to him because you'd have to gain hit points in order to deal more damage.
I don't think that they would have something that you can't deal damage to.
Well, if it would only in this case because you'd have negative because you'd have 10 hit points, you wouldn't have high damage.
I don't know. Yeah, it's confusing to me.
Yeah, I don't,
And honestly, I'm not
don't know.
very invested in it.
Yeah, I guess I just wish I understood more.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that they'll get more detailed with it. I just need like I just need like a very specific example of what it will do and what difference it will make,
Sure.
which they didn't really provide.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to TOA.
Yeah.
If you want to, you could read a couple of the bullet points.
Yeah, sure. So on the whole, it seemed like a lot of people were excited at the prospect of, tomb raiding yet again. So they made additional changes though. And this one is they're not looking to make further tweaks to Baba. They believe that red Xing still has a place since performing it correctly effectively mitigates the spooky part of by preventing Baba from using the debris and rubble special attack. They just are saying they're not getting rid of it. They're just making Baba different. Like you can do
You
him.
have options.
You can do him a different way and it not suck.
Yeah. For Alka and the Stay Vigilant info, we're adjusting our proposal so that Alka only swaps style if he's attacked you with a regular attack before performing a special. This means that if you're perfectly butterflying, you shouldn't run into style swaps. Coupled with Alka only protecting against the style he's using, you still have some leeway here to make a mistake before being forced to use a non-magic style for an entire phase.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Nice.
I don't honestly know a lot about the Stay Vigilant invocation, but the
Changes
little
a
bit
lot.
I remember made me feel like what they were proposing wouldn't work correctly.
I'm pretty sure Stay Vigilant, I could be so wrong, is if you like get hit, then it changes randomly. If you're butterflying, Alka never hits you, so nothing matters.
Exactly.
Is really all you need to know.
Yeah, so that's kind of I'm glad they changed it because I kind of thought something looked a little weird.
Yeah.
For the back, we agree that the wave pushing is iconic.
I'm a little sad about that.
I honestly didn't think about this.
It is a funny animation.
Yeah, we'll be investigating whether we can make the pushing smarter with your pathfinding so it's less chaotic once you mess up. But if our investigation leads to a dead end, then we'll have the waves deal reduced damage on subsequent hits. And that's kind of actually what I was saying.
Yeah, you didn't want it to just be one hit.
Yeah.
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 That's fair. For
Well, no, sorry. For anyone that's
one
wondering,
big hit.
I didn't say that on the pod. Michelle told me about this change earlier in the day,
Oh, I thought
and
you did. Sorry.
I told her I was like, oh, they should just make it so that the waves deal less damage the more of them that hit you, because
hmm
usually what happens is you get hit by one and then you get hit by two more because it's that's
You
just
have
how
no
it
time
is.
and they hit a lot.
Yeah, so it's like if they just make subsequent ones like they just said deal less damage, then that's what I meant.
Yeah. For Kefri, we'll look into a bug. Kefri's a bug. Get it? Where the bone dagger is not acting as you'd expect if using its special attack on entry, and try to tidy up the annoying scenario of getting hit by a dung back to back if you send Kefri into her final phase while she's using the attack. We're not certain that this is fixable, but we're gonna try.
Wow. Thanks.
But anyway, we can move on to loot. There's a lot going on here, man.
Yeah. Interesting. So
Yeah.
all this is just clarification, it seems like, which is good because they had literally zero.
They have proposals too if you go down a lot. He hasn't read this book.
No, I'm just saying in the original.
Oh, yeah.
In the original, they're just like, we're changing it.
They didn't know what they wanted to do.
Yeah, I'm glad they came back so quickly.
It took them a week, which is weird late.
Yeah. So they had a twofold change here. So they decreased the volume.
Well, this is their goal.
Yeah, the goals.
Mhm.
So they had a decrease in the volume of fangs and light bears entering the game considerably, because they're considerably undervalued.
I'm just like, I don't want to correct you on some stuff, but like I heard it considerably and I was like, no. Then you got it.
Yeah, I get there eventually.
You get there eventually. So decrease.
See?
Decrease.
That's what you get.
That is what I get. Decrease the overall volume of TOA uniques entering the game because the rate is far too generous at the top end, warping the rest of the unique economy around it.
Yeah. I mean, clearing 500s isn't easy, but it's like not that crazy. And clearing 300s is definitely not that crazy. And I feel like you get purples fairly regularly.
Oh, you do. They list it soon.
Yeah.
So an extra side goal for TOA is to try and make things healthier economically without significantly harming the player journey for irons and making sure that pushing to higher level raids still feels worthwhile. We don't want skilled players to feel like they need to spend all their time in mismatched gear at a 200 raid level for the best rates. So to start with, they have some fun little facts here to take a look at where purples are coming from. If you want to read those.
I haven't even read it, but I bet you it's like 300s.
Is that what you think? Final guess before you look.
250.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Well, it's kind of... Okay, just read it.
Okay. So solo clears account for 74% of all completions.
I was so surprised by that.
I'm not. It's the only soloable raid.
Chambers is soloable.
It is, but you have to actually be geared. You have to like low key have gear from the raid or be extremely experienced.
I don't know.
You can walk into TOA as a bum and like get KC.
He also has never done TOA. That one person who got him to do Yama came to do TOA.
No. I did walk into TOA. I didn't do it, but I've seen people do it in like literal rags.
Mm-hmm.
To solo chambers, you need some gear. You need like some type of something or other.
Or strats.
Like generally you want some type of like BGS equivalent, and you want some like stab weapon for the for the Ulm fight and stuff like that. And you want to be able to do the bosses that drop. Well, you either need high herbal or you need to kill the bosses that drop the overload. So it's like you need to bring gear for them too.
Not more drop them at least. But I'm not trying to argue with you. I was just surprised because I hate solo raiding and solo TOA is so boring. So I'm like,
really?
74%?
Yeah, no, it's
Ew.
It's the most accessible one. I don't know why you're
It
surprised.
is the most
by that.
accessible, but I didn't think that much people did solos.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just because you stream. I think a lot of people just don't want to deal with finding groups.
No, even like so many people in the chat and like Wraith, one of our mods, is always in the TOA world just going with random people.
Yeah.
Oh, he actually had a story today. Oh my god, wait. Can I share this now or should I wait to do it later?
Sure.
Okay, let me pull it up. Wraith story that happened today.
This is a raid story.
This is a Wraith story, Evercore. One of the craziest things happened to my raid earlier today. Someone panicked at Baba and accidentally shift-click dropped their Torva helm and prims, then immediately died and didn't say anything. Their items, yeah, they don't have the little warning on.
Well, they just played themselves.
Their items appeared while we were in the middle of boulders. I clicked the pile, but someone else got it. Like 3 people died trying to click. The guy explained what happened and is begging for his stuff back. So we all joined the same party hub to figure out who has it in their inventory and is not giving it back. The guy who yoinked it all just leaves the raid instead, and the guy who dropped his stuff chases him through the exit. I felt so bad, actual rat behavior.
I mean, brother, I can't blame him.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, raid just like raids all the time with strangers, and there's always a ton of people.
I mean, bro, if you found a bee on the ground.
This is something that we just talked about the other week. It's not a build, it's just the helm though.
Oh, did he? No, he dropped his
helm and primordials, which is like 30.
He didn't drop the whole set.
No. So
Oh,
this person just like is probably gonna get put on that rune watch list over a Torva helm. I mean, I know it's a lot, but still. We just talked about this the other week about just like, if you see an iron's expensive drop, do you swipe it?
Oh, yeah.
But I said no, so that's why I'm like, this is messed up.
No, dude, that's part of the game. This is weird, but also, I mean, it's his fault. Straight up, it's his fault.
I don't like to blame victims. So...
I mean, if someone stabs himself, like, I mean, bro.
If someone stabs himself, you don't run up and also stab them.
No, but I mean, I'm not going to feel bad.
Why? I'll feel a little bad. I'll be like, dang, that sucks.
Assuming they're mentally like aware and this isn't like a psychotic break and they just like are on the sidewalk.
They did an accident.
And then they like, accidentally stab themselves.
You wouldn't feel bad if someone accidentally stabbed themselves.
They're not going to die. No.
You need to have more empathy.
I'm like, why would they stab themselves? It's just the same thing here. Why would you not have the indicators on for dropping something that's worth many millions?
I don't know. I'm not a victim blamer like you, I guess. So,
okay, bro. At some point, you have to take responsibility.
I mean,
put on the thing.
I agree that they should have had the warning on, but I can also still say sucks though.
Yeah, no, that's just such a foolish thing, bro.
I don't know.
Let us know what you think. Whose fault was that?
The thief. Oh my god, whatever.
And the thief didn't drop him.
Oh my god. Anyway, duos account for 16% of the purples. Teams of 3 to 8 make up the remaining 10%. In terms of completions by raid level over the past year and the proportion of uniques introduced, here's how things look. 0 to 150s are 1% of uniques.
Okay.
150 to 299 are 22% of uniques.
Okay.
300 to 350, 23% of uniques. 350 to 399 are 16% of uniques. 4 to 449, 25%. 450 to 499, around 7%. But to be clear, those are also only 4% of the completions. 500 plus, around 7% of uniques, but with only 3% completions.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
That's mostly interesting because that just means that the rate, but
they actually say right here,
the difference between 150 to 300 and then 400 is seemingly double the uniques.
Yeah. That's kind of
crazy.
So
I would just do 400s then.
Yeah, the biggest standout here is the well-known 400 raid level milestone. I had so many people I used to raid with, and they're like, if we're not doing 400s, I don't want to raid. Because it's the thing. Yeah.
I did not know. This was already known.
Completions at raid level of 400 or above account for 19% of total completions, but they contribute almost 40% of all the uniques. Well, it's important that pushing your raid level up should be more rewarding. We think the data we've got suggests that things are a little bit too generous towards the top end.
Wait, I just thought of it, though. Honestly, 400s might not be the way. Unless, I mean, if you already are geared up, then chances are this isn't going to be true for you. But if you think about it, for like, especially if you're soloing it with like not the best gear, 150s might be the way to go. Because
there's another graph.
If you can complete them at almost twice the rate, then I mean, I would just do the 150s.
No, you just wait. They say how in solos, how long it would take to get every different unique at raid levels.
Yeah.
It's staggering difference.
Well, I mean, yeah,
it's not worth it.
That's for green logging.
I mean, like if you're there for like a shadow, which most people are.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Except for some people get really lucky. Annan from like our chat got a 150 solo shadow, like less than 100 KC. It was crazy.
There you go.
It happens. Yeah.
I mean, the one bill sets you up.
And sometimes it takes you 15,000 times to kill a rat and get the pet. It's
That's
different.
true. That's true.
So the first part of our proposal is to reduce the purple chance of raid level beyond 300. While necessary, we appreciate that this on its own does not feel great and also doesn't necessarily strengthen the value of lower tier uniques. So to counteract that, as raid level increases beyond 300, the waiting for the Fang and the Light Bearer will decrease, meaning that you're more likely to see Masori, Shadow, or the Ward whenever you do hit purple. We've got some approximate numbers here, but do keep in mind it's worth knowing that these don't count for invos like Walk the Path or Path Seeker, nor do they count for things like Skull Skipping, which could increase your purple odds.
Cool.
So there's like a little thing here showing like the live versus proposed purple chance based on raids. So right now in a 500, you have a 13% chance of getting a purple.
It's like almost half.
Y-
Their proposed one is half.
Yeah, I was like, the 15 is not half of 100.
No, their proposed one looks like it's
It's like
55%.
Yeah, it's like around 7% of it. 400, which is like everyone's preferred, it's around 9% chance right now, and it'll go down to looks like a little under 6%. 150s are the same, 200, 250, 300 are all the same. So it's not until above that that it gets a little bit worse.
True.
But it's all still better the higher you push yourself.
Okay.
Now, a look at your chances for specific purples as raid level increase to reflect the changes in weightings. I thought this was cool. So the ones I'm most interested in are shadows, obviously, because it's the only thing I'm missing.
Okay.
So raid level 150. This isn't changing because it's only level 150. It takes 1,200 raids to get a shadow, as opposed to in 500s. What they're proposing, it takes 216 raids to get a shadow.
Yeah.
It used to be 185 though, so that doesn't feel good. 30 more 500 solos.
Yeah.
Kind of rough.
So to put it into perspective, it looks like they're going to pretty much decrease your chance of getting a shadow at 500 by around 20%. But they're also going to decrease your chance of getting a Fang by around 300%.
Yeah, so Fang used to be every 26 500s you get a Fang. Now it's gonna be every 72.
Yeah.
Fang and Light Bearer. So
Yeah.
that will feel so nice.
Yeah, so that'll be really nice because even though you're just gonna straight up get less uniques here, the uniques that you do get, there is a better chance it'll be other things because the weightings are more even. For
Yeah.
instance, the weightings of the Ward are now on par at 500 with the Fang and the Ring. So chances are you could get one of those equally, and not too far above that is a Masori piece.
Yeah, Masori's actually not too bad. So in a 500, a specific Masori piece will be 1 out of 111.
Yeah.
And for any, that would be what, like 1 out of 30 something?
Yeah.
Math, I don't know.
Something
There's
like
3
that.
pieces. There's a whole lot of numbers, so some takeaways if you want to read these for them.
Yeah, it just says more raid level still means more uniques. That's just the way it works.
On average, for raid levels above 300, you'll see purple chests less often. Sad.
Yeah, the rates pretty much are unchanged for everything under 300. So if you are blasting 250s, then maybe just keep doing that.
Yeah, right.
The relative increase in purple rates is reduced using our data for average completion times. You'll still be much more likely to see a unique at 5 or 400, but the uniques per hour is between the two will likely be closer now with the proposed changes than before.
Yeah, so 500 is still the best.
Yeah, so I guess that is a really good takeaway from what I said previously. If you're doing 400s really reliably and you can like kind of do 500s, but maybe you mess up every like 5th raid, maybe just do the 400s because it'll matter
Yeah, it's
less
not as
now.
crazy.
Yeah.
Higher raid levels mean you'll see considerably fewer fangs when you do get a purple chest. Huge. Love that.
And conversely, higher raid levels means you'll see slightly fewer shadows. This means that if you're waiting for a big ticket payday, you'll see the big one considerably more often if you're running 5 or 400s.
Yeah. Combining all this with the uniques coming from each raid level, this should result in a slight reduction for the volume of shadows, wards, and Masori pieces entering the game, and a huge reduction of the volume of fangs and light bears entering the game. The caveat here is that the changes we're making to the raid itself will also speed the raid up slightly, or maybe get more people to push their raid level higher, so it's hard to predict exactly where things might shake out. Naturally, for all the irons, alarm bells are ringing. Pushing past raid 300 without a fang in your hand can be tedious. This is very interesting. Don't know how I feel about this,
Okay.
but I'm not an iron. So to address this, we'd like to add a new jewel for you to attach to your Karis Partisan, turning into a viable main hand weapon somewhere between the Zamorakian and Hasta and the Fang, specifically within tombs. Thoughts?
I mean, it kind of seems a little unnecessary.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you want to grind for one of the straight up best items in the game, maybe it should take you a little while.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to. Also, you don't have to come here for the Fang. You can go somewhere else and get a better weapon and then come back.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people right now, the meta for a lot of people, it seems like, is to just get to TOA as soon as possible.
I think Fang is just everyone's recommendation immediately. You need the Fang to do anything.
It's all like, or you can just do how it used to be. Go get up your Slayer, kill Abbey demons.
Go get your whip.
Get a whip. Maybe kill a Kraken. Get a tent. It's like, no, we don't need to make it easier just because, oh, what is it? Oh, what are you going to have to do? 150s, 200s? Cry me a river. Like, just go do the raid. It's still a 1 out of 100 chance at 250.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
That's not, dude, this is a joke.
I don't know. But I mean, that still like 100 hours, but yeah.
Yeah.
On top of this, I agree with this one. We're looking to make all the untradeable jewels more common and add some more determinism to obtaining them. The disparity in your enjoyment running raid level 400 plus with or without a Karis of the Sun is night and day, with some players having hundreds of KC without the all-important yellow jewel. We're looking to make these more generous so that you're not relying on RNG within the raid to be able to keep pushing those raid levels up and improving your chances at scoring unique items. You know what's interesting as well? I could be so wrong, but I'm pretty sure the best way to get the jewels is low-level raids.
Yeah, probably.
Which is weird.
I think they should just have a failsafe system similar to how they do for
at a certain amount of KC.
Some no, I mean, like, they should have, if you get a yellow, you're guaranteed to get a blue next.
No, they did do that now.
They do that now? Is the drop rate just super low or something?
Yeah, the drop rate's like 1 out of 70 for a specific one.
Oh,
it's super
that is
weirdly
kind of
rare.
Low. They should just make it more common.
I mean, they are.
They should just make it. They should just make it more common at lower raid level.
I think it is more common at lower raid level, but they did change it because initially when it first came out, I remember I got 3 blue gems, and then they're like, "All right, we updated it. You can't get dupes unless you get the nether ones as well."
Yeah.
So they've already made that, but yeah, they're gonna make it more common, which will be nice because it's weirdly rare.
True.
Everything else, let's just go through this little bullet list. This is, what's it called? This is our other changes of this blog.
This is the blog's other changes. So
yes.
Starting off pretty strong, honestly.
I like this.
I saw this one earlier. They reduced the rarity of the sleepy tablet and adjust the dry protection alongside it. This is likely to wind up closer to a 1 out of 25 instead of the current 1 out of 100.
It's so good.
For anyone that doesn't know, the sleepy tablet allows you to teleport to Fasani, which is a really long run if you don't have it.
Oh yeah, especially when you're learning.
Actually like 3 minutes or something.
Speaking of, in the same vein, dying at Nightmare Fasanis will pop you out nearby rather than at your respawn location, similar to Yama. It should make the learning curve a little less tedious.
Yeah, it's like...
At the same time, you might not have supply.
Dude, I just can't... I can't, like... The reason I can't stomach that boss is, like, dying and then, like, you're like, all right, cool, I'm in Edgeville. I guess I'll just re-gear up and
go to Tob and run all the way to sleep and then run through the Sisterhood Sanctuary.
And go back to my... bossing again. That takes 10 minutes to kill, and it takes me 15 minutes to re-gear.
Feels like that.
Crazy. 1 kill an hour. It's insane.
Yeah.
Adjusted Briofita's growthlings to be left clickable if you have an axe equipped. Holy moly, this is great.
Yeah. So as it is now, you have to right click your axe, click use it on a growthling. You know, when I have bronze axes, I changed it so my left click is use.
Oh,
and I keep confusing myself because I'll go to drop them. So I'll like shift click and it equips it. And then I'm just like, why am I wearing this?
Yeah, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, so I'll be able to change that finally. Adjust the high scores for Obor and Brio to be for the chest openings rather than the kill count, meaning you'd have to kill the boss and use a key to get on the high scores.
They also added a cooldown for growthling spawnings because they would just spawn back to back repeatedly forever.
That has happened a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
To introduce players to Obor and Brio, require them to use at least 1 key to get into their respective layers, meaning new players will still learn about them passively if they get lucky while killing hill giants or moss giants.
If they get luck.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad they're keeping that the same though.
That's okay.
The first time I got one, it was like, what is this?
Yeah. The thing is that honestly, these changes aren't that big a deal. One, I do think it would just be better to increase the drop rate and leave it as it is. But honestly, it's just I don't like these types of changes because I don't know of a single person that's like asking for this.
Mhm.
Like,
Well, people.
obviously, I don't know all the players in the game, but I mean, like, I don't see, like, I actively browse the free to play subreddits, and I don't see people like, I wish I could kill 1,000 wars an hour.
No, it's not for free to play. They even said on their blog, it's for people to do combat achievements.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's all it is.
yeah. It's like, it's just weird. It's just weird catering. I don't like the catering things
Hmm.
because, yeah, legitimate players, I mean, not saying that Achievement Hunter, Slag aren't legitimate players, but yeah, I just don't see like actual people that do this content regularly asking for this.
I don't know.
I mean, all these CAs are one-off people, right? Like once they're done with it, they're not going to go back.
I mean, I was definitely complaining about whenever I did the CA. And it's CAs are kind of like diaries and quests where it's stuff
Yeah.
that people are always doing at all times. Someone's always going to work on that.
Sure, but I guess I mean my main point is you did it and then you're done, right? Like
Hmm.
you don't even think about it
Well,
anymore.
I had to get multiple keys because I actually didn't do all of them at once.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it is annoying. It
But
took me hours.
it's like a little side thing though. It's like whenever you go to a boss, you're not like, oh, I wish this boss would die in one hit so I can do all these CAs.
Yeah.
No, you do the boss and you get your CAs and you leave,
I don't know.
just like everything else.
That's fair.
But yeah, whatever.
Make the Dragon Hunter one 2 times more common rather than 3 times, which I actually like. I thought 3 times was a little too crazy. Considering how good the wand is with our proposed changes, especially with Ancient Magic's autocast, we think it could stand to be a little tougher to obtain than we'd initially typed up.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I know you wanted the 3 times, but
No, I mean 3 times is a common. It's fine. I still think it's just I think it will be used probably. I mean it's becoming much stronger, so I guess this is fine. But well, I will have to see where it sits because if it does still sit below something like the Trident of the Swamp, then I don't know how much it'll be used, but we'll have to see, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, because I might honestly that looks cool, but whenever in a month or 2 or 4, whenever this comes out, and then it still sucks, then like maybe it would be better if it was 3 times and not 2 times.
Then they'll adjust as needed then, I guess.
Sure, or not look at it again for 3 years.
Maybe that. Add a left click feed option to Duke so that you can use your potions or ingredients passively rather than needing to click repeatedly. I don't know if you know, but the speed run is getting the mushrooms and you don't make them into the potion. You just spam click back and forth and like the stuff on him.
No, I've never seen it.
It's really not fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
This one is actually really sick. Allow Grandmaster Combat Achievers to gain the Slayer Helm bonus while off task in the fight caves alongside the Inferno.
Okay.
We can't control for rotations at this point, so you'll still need to wait around a little if you're looking for ideal speedrunning spawns, but at least you won't need to real skip.
Wow, that's such a specific ask.
Yes.
For speedrunning GMers.
Yep.
Adjust Grotesque Guardian's rockfall attack so the outer radius does not stun the player. The center tile will still stun you, but all of the 3x3 are just going to deal damage.
Nice. That's cool.
That's huge.
Yeah, that was
It is
annoying.
so tilting. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
it's a very big area.
It is.
Yeah.
But
That's it though.
Yeah, that's it for the update. They're going to have, or for the blog, they're going to have another sweep up blog with Slayer focused coming
Yeah.
up soon.
Big sweepers.
Yeah,
They
big
got their
sweepers.
brooms out, dude.
Oh, do
Mary
they?
Poppins.
Okay. We do have an actual update though.
Yeah. There is something that I took a picture of earlier because I thought it was interesting.
Okay.
It was like a mod thing.
Sure.
It was yeah, this is honestly not that big of a two things. I wanted to
Okay.
include these here because we were in the middle of
Segwaying.
yeah, we're kind of in the middle of a blog, but I have like 2 kind of community updates,
Oh, sure.
kind of flipper updates, kind of just interesting things.
Oh, you
to
told me about
know.
one flipper thing.
Yeah. One was that like a lot of people I like to speculate on what things will increase in price. One, people think Shadow might increase in price. But that's
I mean, yeah, they said less are going to enter the game.
yeah. Besides that though, people are, always wanting different knowledge on when gear will become relevant. Unfortunately, Mod Goblin kind of made it seem like Justicar isn't going to become relevant anytime soon.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, so if you're saving like 500
More people?
500 Justicar plates, like waiting for the day, it's not coming anytime soon.
What if Mod Goblin was saying that? Was it like to throw people off the set.
Maybe.
And it's gonna get expensive.
Oh, yeah, that would be a crazy mind game. He just says that people like big numbers and enemies with low defense, and it's really hard to make attrition fights feel good, which is what the Justicar is made for. So
Yeah. Anything that you have to use Justies, usually not my favorite content.
yeah. And a separate thing, also kind of related to GP, is it's kind of been happening all day. It's been happening for a few days now, but it's become more public today, specifically the last 24 hours, is people are able to acquire and reliably do the Oath Plate acquisition contracts.
Still?
Yeah, this is what I told you about this today.
Oh, I already told you. No, we talked about this the other day.
Did we?
Yeah. Or that's what I meant when I told you.
Oh,
You said someone, yeah. Just,
no, did we mention
I don't think we talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking
I
about?
meant me, or maybe we did. I meant me and you have talked about this like several days ago.
No, that's why I prefaced it. I said
Wait.
it's been going around for a few
I
days.
forgot we were recording, and I thought you were telling me, and I was like, I already knew this.
I know. I was like, I think the listener might want to know.
There's people listening.
Yeah.
That's just me. I thought you were just trying to tell me stuff.
Anyways, some of the better players in the game, this does require you to be a generally good player. For instance, people like Noob Type, No Monkey, and a few others are just regularly able to complete the Oathplate contract, which if you do it effectively and, buy them off the GE, you're making around 600 mil an hour. Yeah. So if you do this for a day,
but I'm assuming it's not counting how much you spent on them.
No, that's well, I don't know. Generally, whenever I do my rates per hour, I include it. I know a lot of people do, but yeah, even if it's not, I don't know how many of these you can do an hour, it would still be pretty good money.
Yeah, you're still getting hundreds of mil regardless.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like generally, and also they even put out videos on this. No Monkey did, I'm pretty sure, on like his strategy for it. It's not 100%, but actually if you are a really good player, it's 100% type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a difficult method, but that's kind of crazy. I was telling Michelle that after I read this, because I've kind of been saying this from the beginning, I think they should honestly put a stop to contracts
Till they fix this.
rewarding you things.
Oh yeah, I don't like that it gives you armor. That's kind of, it feels like a slippery slope because of stuff like this happening.
The guaranteed rewards.
Yeah, the guaranteed rewards is weird. Not the cosmetics, but like stuff that you can sell at the G.
Yeah.
Guaranteed tradable millions of gold worth of drops.
Yeah, honestly, I would be down. Keep the cosmetic one, keep the pet one. All of the other ones, just have them double the unique rate.
Or more than double even, because they are.
Yeah, whatever. Increase the unique rate.
I agree, or I think that they should just make it sounds like there's like a bug or something. Because someone was even telling me in my chat as well, just saying like, you should do it now before they update it.
Maybe.
Because I don't think they're going to allow that to stay in the game.
If you watch the video, it kind of just looks like low-key intended tech.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think I can't imagine people like No Monkey and Noob Type on stream for like 12 hours straight would be like bug abusing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I could see it, instead of being a bug, them being like, that's not what we intended, and changing it though.
Yeah, it might be slightly unintended.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was kind of crazy. So I guess if you
Go
think,
look up that video if you're good at Yama.
yeah, if you think you have the hands to make some money, then you might want to try this out.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd bring it up because I thought it was kind of crazy. And let me know what you think about the contracts. I think they should just
They're never doing it again though.
all the guaranteed ones are just not
Kind of weird.
They're not OSRS, honestly.
It's
in my opinion.
a little strange for sure.
It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah. Moving on though to poll 84, AFK timers and more.
Yeah, these are just generally some nice quality of life stuff.
I love quality of life.
I think all of these ones I'm about to talk about are pretty useless, but
I actually like this one so much.
Yeah, but I mean, some people will like them, obviously, like Michelle.
Yeah.
So the first one is the next few actually are going to be for the GE, and this one allows you to modify offer. Let's say you put an offer in for a BGS, and you're like, wait, I didn't mean to put 30 million. I meant to put like whatever it is now, 13 million. So you can right click on it and modify instead of right click abort. And it'll just automatically, whenever you click modify in the background, it does automatically abort your offer And then,
But you don't have to do it. What I use this for all the time, if you've ever watched my stream, you know it's a meme that I love a bank sale at the end of the stream. I'm like, I sell everything I've made that day. It is very annoying. Like if, for example, I've been in clues, I have multiple inventories of stuff I'm selling. A bunch of them aren't selling. I have to cancel it. They're back in my inventory. I have to try to remember what the price I posted was before, lower it more, see if it sells again. Selling stuff. This will be huge for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so.
It's something that annoys me so much, so I'm really excited for this.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because you just like hit the down arrow a bunch of times and sell it anyways.
No, so whenever I sell stuff, I always immediately put stuff the down arrow twice. But a lot of stuff isn't that.
Yeah.
Some stuff I'll have to post like 4 different times because I don't remember what I set it at because I'm selling 30 different things, you know?
Okay.
I'm not going to be like, last time I clicked at 6, this time I'll click at 7. I'm just like, I don't know what I clicked it at.
Okay. Yeah. If you,
This is huge and you can't change my mind.
that's fine. That's fine. I don't do this. Also, the next thing was already
Next
in the
one,
game.
yeah. I mean, just saving you a click.
I guess. This
Instead
next
of
one,
clicking that, you're clicking.
yeah, kind of ridiculous. This next one is repeat offer. It's a new button in the top left, just below history.
Which is where you can also go to repeat an offer.
Yeah. The thing is, I think they added this because it's not known that this is already in the game.
Oh yeah, so if you didn't know now, you can go to your history and click it, and you'll have like a list of your most recent, and you can put in that exact buy offer or sell offer again.
Yeah, like I mean, this is kind of common. If you're like, you bought 100 brews, you're like, actually, I think I might need 100 more, and then you can just go to your history, literally click on the 100 brews, and it'll make the exact same listing again, and you'll buy 100.
It saves a couple clicks, but
Literally a click.
Yeah, we already have it,
Well,
so it's kind of
saves you two. It saves you two.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess you can do the repeat offer now.
There was an extra note on there that we missed, but it says if you're selling but low on stock, the sell offer will automatically adjust to how much you've actually got. And if you're fresh out of the goods, you'll get a chat message to let you know. And they also do add the G history button also still lets you repeat previous buy offers with a quick click.
Cool.
I don't think that was a thing before that it would automatically adjust for you. I think before it would just like have an error to be like, no, you don't have that.
Oh,
I don't know that for
the
sure.
repeat offer, or
I think so for the history.
no, history doesn't have that.
No, the automatic adjustment.
No.
Yeah, so I think that is a good change.
No, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing specifically for repeat offer. History literally is the exact same
clone.
offer again.
If you don't have it, then you have to start over.
Yeah. The next one is going to be for Abyssal Sire.
Yeah, so bursting down the Abyssal Sire during his phase transition, only to watch him bounce back to full health, was not fun. They describe it as about as fun as a Chinchompa to the face, which is super violent. They blow up.
Nice.
Anyway, they've dialed down his healing. So bring him down to 0 while he's wandering. He now wakes up with just over 40%. Catch him while he's setting up his big apocalypse attack. He'll only heal to about 20. And stun him while he's seated. That will still be a full heal and a stun as intended. I didn't realize that this was happening. But yeah, apparently he was like fully healing like during the transition phase. That would be so tilting. So good change.
Yeah. Nice. The next one is going to be some extra stuff that they were able to fit in.
Yeah.
Some more 84 stuff. And this is actually kind of crazy.
This is something that should have always been a thing.
Kind of crazy. For anyone that doesn't know, one of the worst grinds in the game, the Gout Tuber on Karamja.
Even on leagues, it was hard.
Yes, it is a diary, which you actually need in order to get the Karamja gloves, which are pretty good. So a lot of people have done this annoying grind, but there was no way to do it faster or better. You just kind of had to get lucky. Now there's a way to make it a little bit faster because you have increased rates with higher woodcutting levels.
Previously, you were more likely to get if you had low level, which no one knew when you're a new player for the first time going to get Gout Tuber.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this would have been easier if I came here at 1.
If I remember
whatever it is.
correctly, that was a bug, and they ended up fixing it.
Did they fix it?
I think they did end up
Oh,
fixing it.
I don't know.
But yeah, for years and years and years, it was like that.
Yeah, it's so funny.
The last one is going to be cat chasing rats will no longer delay your character.
You skipped one here on accident. So you can now empty the small and large meat pouches when near banks or on the top floor of the Hunter's Guild.
Yeah, there you go. It originally only said large, and then they included small.
Oh. Also, they hear people asking stackable clues when it's on the way.
Soon.
Yeah, soon.
Yeah.
They had a whole paragraph to say soon.
Yeah. This next change, honestly, not part of the poll. but it is the biggest change in my
It's
opinion.
good. We already have it because of RuneLight, but huge for other people.
Yeah, so on the base client, and also that means on all of mobile clients,
hmm
you can set the logout timer for up to 25 minutes.
Yay!
By default, it is 5 minutes for anyone that doesn't know.
It was nothing.
Now you can change it to 10, 15, 20, or 25. They wanted to do 30, but they couldn't figure it out and they didn't want to put this off.
Yeah, they're still working on the 30 though.
So 25 is the maximum, which is still 5 times as much as it is right now. Kind of crazy. They do mention that obviously take into account like if your phone is going to put the app to sleep, they can't change that.
Yeah.
You have to change that or get a new phone or something.
But it won't be the client's fault.
Yes.
So to change this, head into settings, go to the gameplay tab, look for AFK logout timer settings, or you can just search AFK, select your preferred timeout in 5-minute increments, and the setting default to 5 minutes it's still at 5 minutes, but you can now stretch it to fit your needs. And a confirmation message will appear in your chat when you change it. The setting is saved per device and will persist across sessions.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think I read that like Apple phones, like Mac stuff, Apple phones you can't change the sleep settings on apps,
Probably.
so it just puts it to sleep after like 10 minutes, I think.
Oh yeah. I mean, better than 5 though.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's huge.
Cool.
And this also for anyone wondering if you like are on mobile or even just on desktop, anything counts as not being AFK. So like if your mouse even just goes over the client at any point, that you're not AFK anymore and it resets the timer.
Sick.
Yeah, so it's nice for anyone that doesn't want to log out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's it. Next we have some Yama tweaks.
Cool. So if you already own a piece of Radiant Oathplate or any piece of sigil, the contractually unbound combat achievement task will now be completed for you retroactively.
Yeah. This next one is going to be fixed a tricky bug where the Shadow Dancer combat achievement task could unfairly fail if you phased him and were teleported away
Yeah, the exact same tick.
at the same tick as damage was being dealt.
Void Flare hit points has been lowered from 83 to 81 during the Familiar Acquisition and Divine Severance contracts.
That'll make it a bit easier. And
Speaking of a bit easy.
yeah, speaking of a bit easier, yeah, the contract of Familiar Acquisition, which is a very difficult
I heard it's one of the
contract.
hardest.
It is. It's had its pet chance boosted from 1 in 250 to 1 in 100, which is very, very
Would I have a
high.
100 chance of getting the pet, just to be clear?
Yeah, and now both players get the benefit of the contract, unless obviously you're an iron.
Oh my god. I
In
mean,
which
you could
case-
still get if you're an iron if it's your contract.
Yeah, in which case they'll have to use their own contract to start the fight if they want the reward.
1 out of 100 chance for a pet. I bet the price of that contract went up.
Yeah, I think the price of a lot of contracts went up.
Probably.
Yeah.
The number of Ether runes required to craft each piece of Radiant. Radiant.
That
It's got rodents on the
it's-
mind, bro.
it's like a rodeo rodent.
Of Radiant Oathplate has been reduced from 10,000 to 2,500. Players who had already used runes for this have now had their Aether runes restored.
Yeah. Originally, this wasn't updated.
They changed it, right?
Yeah,
This is not what it said before.
Originally, it said they were trying to give you back your stuff, but they didn't know if they could. Now they have.
No, before that, I think they also said they weren't sure if they wanted to.
Oh.
Or maybe I misread it.
Yeah,
Because that would be kind of rude.
I just thought it read as they
No.
weren't sure if they could.
Thank you, though, because I was reading that and I was like, man, I really thought that used to say something else.
Yeah. And lastly, they fixed a bug with the pet standing animation for Yama.
Nice.
And also, I forgot to mention this because this was a really old screenshot I took. But speaking of Yama, I thought I'd bring it up. Lord J Rays, Oblivion J Rays, I'm pretty sure the person that was one of the first to get full Radiant.
Oh, nice.
I told you about this before. They were the first person to acquire to complete the Oath Plate acquisition contract, the one that everyone's farming now repeatedly for
God.
600 mil.
Ugh.
And he spent a total on contracts of over 12 billion GP.
That used to be 80 mil per contract.
Yeah.
That's not even that much contracts.
Yeah. So
Oh my god.
it's funny to see how much money it costs to get to where we are now,
Exactly.
where people are just farming it
That's why
on the reg.
even though people are saying like you can cheese it, you can farm it, I'm like, I'm not gonna spend 60 mil on a chance at maybe getting it.
Yeah.
Like it's not worth it to
It's
me.
it's still 100% chance of completion. Like you'll probably see people saying there's 100% chance of completing the Oathplate contract
If you're them.
if you are very good at the game.
Yeah.
It is not easy.
Probably not for me. And also I can't stand the pressure of stuff like that. No.
Yeah. Speaking of pressure, we are, as always, shouting out the mods for putting on the Pride Parade this year.
Oh, and they're feeling the pressure because there's not an event.
No, there is an event.
Not in game.
Oh, not an event like that. But
Yeah.
I meant they're feeling the pressure of making the parade as good as it was last year.
I've never been to one. They always do when I'm sleeping or when I'm at work.
Yeah.
Again this year, by the way.
For anyone that doesn't know, obviously it's Pride Month, so they're having
Happy Pride.
another Pride Parade, and they have Pride merch to go along with it if you want to
So
buy
do we
that.
buy our gamer shirts. Just
Yeah,
saying.
we have Pride merch as well. And obviously they have a Pride Parade. They do every single year, and I don't know why people are still kind of surprised by this, but as always, it starts somewhere in Varrock, and it goes down through Lumbridge, over to Draenor, and finally ends up in Falador. So if you're free to play, you have access to all this stuff. You can go as well. Mods like to turn themselves into big dragons,
like big
or
bosses and stuff.
Um,
I'm so sad. I've never been able to go to one, and the screenshots always look so cool.
yeah.
I want to see like a big mob running around. I'll just go into the bathroom at work and just be like, "Why do I have a stomach ache?"
Yeah.
And just be on my phone. I'm just kidding. If anyone from my work listens to this,
Everyone listens.
it was a prank.
But yeah, it always ends in the party room, and it's always kind of cool hanging out with everyone. There's
Yeah.
usually a lot of people going.
Yeah. I did want to shout out the merch though, because they brought back the rainbow party hat from last year, which I love. Still so tempted into getting. We also have a Max Cape keychain with some little rainbow stuff on the bottom. It's more subtle. And then a pen that's like an iodized rainbow party pen. Angelscape said that each of these was like hand done, so everyone is unique too.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool, very pretty. I like it. Pride Parade live stream, by the way, June 9th, 16:30 to 18:30 BST over on their Twitch channel.
Yeah, 4:30 for anyone that's American.
So 8:30, busiest time of the day at work.
Yeah, 4:30, and then it's actually
It's on a-
minus 8 for us, so it's
8:30
8:30 a.m.
on a Monday morning.
8:30 a.m. on a Monday morning for
You
all
could not
the,
have chosen a worse time for someone at a call center to try
Yeah.
and make this parade.
that's for anyone that's on Pacific Coast.
Yes,
so,
sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, no mention of an event, which I'm actually really sad about.
Yeah, no
I hope
event.
that they add something anyway.
Maybe they'll sneak it in kind of like they've done the past few, but yeah, we'll have to
Hopefully.
see. Something else they snuck in, a few other changes, is they fixed
Yeah.
a bug where Steven achievements were pretty much just not working.
Surge potions can now be stored inside the chamber storage unit.
And players can no longer walk into the scenery part of the task-only Wyvern Cave in Mudskipper Point.
You'll now be unable to enter Yama when Scold on DMM Worlds.
And speaking of DMM, we have the Deadman All-Stars. We're getting pretty close to the finale. There's only 4 days left.
Yeah, at the time that this came out. So the finale will be live on RuneScape's Twitch. Yeah, the old school RS Twitch on June 8th. If you guys want to go watch this. Reminder, it's just like a bunch of PKers. PKing.
Yeah.
It's a big competition that Jagex had in collaboration with Solo Mission.
And you can watch the final episode, which is just going to be a live session on the 8th of June at 10 a.m. PDT.
Thank you. I did not see the time.
Yeah. So, yeah, go check it out if you are an enjoyer of that.
Yeah.
And if you're an enjoyer of that, you might like this.
Yeah, I think more people would probably like this because you can actually partake.
Yeah.
So this will be a community event, Mod Wars, Castle Wars Chaos. Join us. That's kind of cute.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Join us on June 13th, 4 p.m. BST for some JMod Castle Wars action. We're flipping your classic Castle Wars experience on its head and unleashing pure chaos. Two JMods, Mod Nox and Manked, will be joining the battle as each team's unkillable flag-thieving behemoths. These aren't just mascots. They're mobile mega bosses with 1 million hit points in a mission. Do you think they
Yeah.
have 1 million hit points?
So just imagine if Nox and Manked turned into the world boss we didn't get, and then you have to kill it.
Yes. Here's what's going to go down. As soon as the game starts, the enemy JMod teleports into your base and tries to steal your flag. Your team must stop them at all costs while escorting your own JMod and their mountain of hit points back to safety. They'll also have a few tricks up their sleeve, so watch out. Think of it as a high-stakes flag game meets escort mission meets boss fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be in World 522. Go join their official OSRS Discord for more details
They
there.
have 1,000,000 health. That's like 5 hits from
Shadow?
no, no, even worse. I was gonna say 5 hits from the that what was it? The bloody dagger we got that one year.
What?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Oh,
Was it a fun game?
yeah, it was just a
Or
fun. It
fun?
was just a fun weapon.
Okay. I was just like, nothing gave us that much. What do you
No,
mean?
no. But yeah, so you can go check that out.
Cool.
It's pretty cool.
One more thing. Oh boy.
Yeah,
This is a
the best.
vlog.
This is the best one.
Yeah. This is going to be pausing Project Zanaris. And what's next? Spoiler alert, you guys.
Yeah.
Pausing Project Zanaris.
So we
I'm
mentioned.
gonna let you take charge because you're happy.
Well, yeah, we mentioned this last week, right?
We speculated.
We speculated because why would they ever change one of their websites when scrubbed by Google to read that they were pausing the project?
Yeah, very silly that they accidentally got that leaked ahead of time.
Yeah, so that leak is now confirmed because they are pausing Project Zanaris, and not just for a day or a week, but they're pausing it forever.
Indefinitely.
Yes, that is the same thing.
Well, it might be brought back.
Indefinite means forever.
I thought indefinitely meant that it's always open to potentially come back.
I don't think so.
Well, why would they say pausing then?
I mean, I guess it might mean that, but I don't think it's like typically used that way.
It's a temporary stop or interruption without a specific end date or time when it will resume.
So forever.
No, it's probably forever, but that's not what it means.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
It's like whenever a boy band goes on hiatus and you know they're never going to get back together. But
Yeah.
like, it's a hiatus.
Yeah. So I guess technically, yeah, you are correct, but I just figured they really just meant forever. But yeah.
They probably do.
So it is undefined if or when they will ever get back to Project Zanaris. Mainly I mean, we don't even have to get super into it. Overall, it's just wasn't going to make them a ton of money, and it was a really
They don't
big
say
investment.
that though, do they?
They allude to it.
Okay, I was like, I'm pretty sure they don't just say it's not going to make us money.
No, obviously it doesn't say that, but they do like allude to the fact that it's, going to cost them a lot, and there's honestly just not a lot of money in hosting and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they said that they are redistributing the team across Jagex or directly move to OSRS, and there's some other ways that the talent technology from Zanaris will directly benefit OSRS in the future. And there's actually some really cool stuff.
Yeah, so the first one is faster, more creative events and content ideas. So the Zanaris team had lots of new gameplay ideas and incredible concepts for events and features. Rather than shelving these, they want to explore them and hopefully maybe even bring them to OSRS Core one day.
Yeah, just like little temporary worlds.
Yeah.
Improved server infrastructure. We'll be using the cloud server technology developed for Zanaris to enhance our existing game worlds. This means greater reliability during peak hours.
Yeah.
Next one's huge.
The next one is potentially huge. They said they're exploring options to bring an improved service to underserved regions outside of the core area, being UK, US, Germany, and Australia.
That means there finally might be like an Asia server, South America server,
or anywhere else that isn't those
anywhere
4 places.
other than those 4 places. Oh, that makes me really excited for some people.
Yeah.
I messaged Elliot. I like highlighted it and was like, "Oh my god, I'm praying for you."
It's not like you said Elliot.
Oh, Elliot.
The next one is they have more engaging customization. So Zanaris brought us many customization options that can now be introduced to main OSRS worlds and event servers. These improvements allow us to create more exciting time-limited events. Well, not a Pride event, but in the future, maybe.
Yeah, I know. I was like, "Where's the Pride event?"
Yeah.
Strengthening the roadmap. Members of the Zanaris team will be actively contributing to key initiatives on the OSRS roadmap, helping to enhance major content and support the game's long-term development. Pretty much, they could always use more team members. So
Yeah.
the team members are actually going to like do stuff. They're going to do their jobs and work, and it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
That's the gist.
Yeah. Anyways,
You're
I
happy.
I mean, honestly, it's just I would have been more happy if this just never happened. I don't even know where this idea came from. I think a lot of people were excited because it came out of left field, but
the longer it took, the more people were like, "Do I really want this?"
and also it took so long. This was going on for over a year,
Yeah, about a year now.
and there was like practically no updates on it.
Dude,
So
this and the Wildy Worm, both summer summits that never happened last year.
yeah,
Rough.
looking rough.
But, there's always this year. Oh, we're not going to get one because of
Yeah.
RuneFest.
We wanted to extend a heartfelt thank you. Yeah, anyways.
They also say if you have an idea for a future community event to go and reach out to them, like a Solo Mission did and got that entire little event going on. So if you have anything cool that you want to do, I mean, it's worth joining their Discord. They have a Jagex community events channel.
Yeah. So, anyways, along with that, they said, we're confident this change will ultimately strengthen OSRS at immediate value. Better services and exciting new experiences. Also, we did find out someone did leave.
Jagex?
Yeah.
Who?
We don't know if they left of their own accord. Obviously, we'll never know unless we ask the mod themselves. But Mod Dylan is not on this week. See, you can see his name there.
Yeah.
But
I mean, maybe he just didn't have to do with it because you said we have to check every week, right?
I don't know exactly how it works, but people scoured the names and they said that 2 new people are featured and
Okay.
Dylan is no longer there. And if that
We'll have
is
to wait and
true,
see.
apparently Mod Dylan has been in and out of the offices for quite a many years and had hands in really interesting older content such as like Morning's End and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be weird. I wonder if they, I mean, you said they're like in and out. I wonder if they're like kind of do this.
I don't know. Some people said
like
that
maybe they're just like contract work more.
I didn't look into this guy's like life or anything
It was
or
on his
or his
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, but some people said like he like might have like been with the company for a long time and then left and came back or something. Obviously,
Yeah.
we don't know if he was let go or anything like that, but it was just interesting to bring it up since people were on the lookout for it.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's all the stuff that we have for this week. We can jump into some questions.
Yes. So first question is Harger from Discord. Do you think OSRs would ever implement something that you only have one shot at? I was thinking about a heist type of Grandmaster quest today. Imagine you help a small crew of dark wizards plan and execute a mission to infiltrate the wizard's tower and steal blueprints of a new super staff. If you're successful, you obtain as a quest reward the untradeable blueprint that allows you to craft the staff. If you fail, you die and can never attempt it again.
That's a little harsh.
I don't think
And
that
then
they ever would.
Fire emoji.
Yeah, there was a fire emoji react from Matt. Matt was like, "Hell yes."
Yeah.
I don't know that'd be opposed to necessarily, but I don't think that they'd ever implement something like that.
Yeah.
To answer the question straight up, because I think OSRs is such a grindable game, like nobody would even think like do something once. Like, what do you mean? Like that's weird.
Yeah.
This game's kind of all about like giving you multiple opportunities if you're not a hardcore, obviously.
Yeah, true.
But I mean, it is kind of fun to imagine if they did that, it'd have to be like something dumb, you know? It couldn't be like a super staff. It would have to be like a fun weapon.
Yeah, I kind of agree in a similar line of thinking, all the way up to the reward.
Mhm.
I think this could actually work in the game if it wasn't such a like achievement worthy award.
If it was just a fun mini game, maybe.
If they're all like, all right, you go down into a cave and there's this really cool item. And if you do like some sequence of like agility or fighting certain mobs, or if you brought a certain item, then you can get it. And then it's like maybe not an insane staff, but maybe it's like a pretty good staff or like a pretty good bow for the level.
Yeah.
Like an item that kind of like is like a bridge item in between.
But maybe something treatable too, so it doesn't feel
like maybe something
bad if
on
you
like
failed.
a similar level to, or maybe in a similar situation to the Z-Axe, because the Z-Axe is really good when you get it. It's kind of insane, actually.
Mhm.
Maybe not that good, but like kind of in that position where it's like maybe you don't have an MSB yet because you're an Iron Man or something, and this thing is just like really good.
Yeah. It's good for the time being.
Yeah. So it's like you could do that, or I see another option where it's like maybe it's a thing where it could be a reward from a quest, or during the quest, you have one of 3 options. And depending on which one you go with, you either randomly or deterministically get one of 3 items. And it's like one of them could be like a really sick piece of armor that's like just a step below fighter's torso, or another one could be like something just a step below or even above like I don't know, whatever staff is at the current level.
Yeah, I don't even
And then
know
it's like,
what's there.
if it's
What's
random,
mid?
if it's random, that could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But if it's not, that could also be kind of cool because then it's like, oh, which one do you pick?
So you think it should be something that's actually rewarding,
I
as opposed to like a fun weapon?
I think it would be cool if it was actually rewarding, but like lower level so that it doesn't actually matter a ton.
Yeah. I was just thinking if it's a fun weapon, then there won't be, but something tradable so you can still buy it.
Yeah.
Then there wouldn't be, you know, people are like, I'm gonna wait till I can watch a streamer do it or to like watch a guide.
Yeah, that's lame.
Yeah.
That's what would happen if it was
That's
high
what would
level.
happen. That's what would happen if it was anything that's an upgrade, though, I think. Like irons.
Maybe.
Irons would be like, oh, I need to do this.
I think that's why I kind of think the idea of it being random would be kind of cool because like maybe there's a pool of items or something, or
Mhm.
if it's like the one of 3 items, like I mentioned, like maybe it's just as simple as you went down this left path and that day the left path gave you a new 6 staff and you're like, maybe you're like, all right, cool. I'm going to go do Saren.
Mhm.
And you're like, I'm going to do this quest in hopes that I get a 6 staff. You get it? Yo, that's a pog moment.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine how they'd implement it, though, like how it
Yeah.
actually works.
It's not sick so much as like usually when you face Saren, you got 2 options, Ibans and probably Ibans,
I don't know what I used.
maybe a scepter.
I cannot remember.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, you'd be pogging out if you got something that was a step above Ibans.
That's true, you would.
So I mean that'd be kind of cool. I could see that happening. I don't know if people would like it, but that's the implementation I could see it happening.
Do you think they ever would implement a one-time thing?
I
I
could honestly see it.
I don't know. I just don't think they would.
Yeah, like I said, if it was like
Regardless of reward, just the content in general, I think that they always add stuff because they know that this game is grindy and people just like repeat stuff over and over.
the thing is, if it's tied to a quest, you don't repeat quest.
That's true.
So it's like,
If it was quest related, it would make the most sense.
if you're like I said, if you're
Then would you fail the quest?
no, like I said,
Maybe something else
it's
happens.
random
Yeah.
or something, or you know, like maybe it's deterministic, but you have a choice to make. Kind of
Mhm.
like they do this exact thing actually in one of the elf quests. You choose between the bow.
I was kind of thinking even simpler. You choosing between gangs and Shield Barav.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sure. So it's like
Like
they
a choose your own
have
adventure.
they have stuff like this. Obviously, you can get the shield or whatever after.
So if you fail, then they'll be like, "Oh, you didn't get that. You can buy it after if you want."
Yeah.
But-
I mean, they don't even have to go that far. I just mean like there's kind of already precedent for like
That's
a one-time decision type of thing in a quest because you're not repeating the quest. It's not like it's a boss, so I could see that happening.
Okay, that's yeah. Next question's from Matt on Discord. How would you feel about Jagex adding a feature to OSR's mobile called standby mode, and would it even be possible? So the concept is you can log into your mobile account and have it on standby, but with the click of a button, you can instantaneously log out of your computer and switch to mobile without interrupting gameplay. This would mean that you could have backup in case your computer crashes or your Wi-Fi drops. You could, for example, connect your phone to cellular
Yeah.
to troubleshoot Wi-Fi issues.
Cellular. You don't know.
It's
I
a
think
lurd.
I think they just added the D on accident.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it was just
like,
a mistype.
this is an internet thing that I don't know how to read.
No, the
It's-
R's right
it's
next
a
to the
typo.
D.
Yeah.
Probably a typo.
I mean, I think that would be really cool if they added it. I don't know if that's possible.
That is definitely probably
Every
not.
hardcore would be like, yes, let's add it.
I cannot imagine that being possible.
Would it be cool though?
And plus, I feel like your phone would have to like constantly ping the servers, and it would look like you're logged in on 2 different things. I don't think the technology is there. I think if the technology is there, that would be cool.
That'd be super sick.
I just don't think.
Switch to mobile, and you're just like, all right, let's go.
The thing
Easy.
is, even if it was real, I just feel like the infrastructure required for that would be really high.
Yeah,
Because there's a lot of like, there'd be a lot of checks and stuff going on. I don't know. I mean,
it's a cool idea
it's
though.
it is a really cool concept because I mean, obviously people die from DCs all the time.
Yeah.
It's like your power goes out. Well, I guess you're.
Now it'd just be like if you're playing, always have your phone right in front of you, ready to go.
Yeah. I guess it's like, yeah, it's like if you DC now, maybe your 5K account is just gone because you're
Oh my
hardcore or
gosh.
something.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an interesting idea. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, right.
And
That's
that would
a
be
great
cool.
Q&A though.
Yeah. I really like that idea. Yeah, thanks for the Q&A. Thanks for the
Yeah.
questions as always. It was fire emoji indeed. And hopefully we get questions next week as well.
Yeah, so if you want to ask questions, you can on any of our socials, our Twitter, TikTok, and something else, I think, our Bunebape
Blue
OSRS.
Sky.
No, maybe it's just those two. Our Twitch, YouTube, Blue Sky, and Instagram are all just Bunebape. I stream 4 days a week at twitch.tv/Bunebape. We also upload shorts every week on YouTube, and I stream on YouTube as well now. We keep saying this, obviously, but like we talk more about doing videos and stuff, so we'll see if that happens.
Yeah.
Soon TM.
Soon to
But
you.
yeah, come hang out. And again, we have the bingo next month. So discord.gg/Bunebape. Please come join the bingo. It would mean a lot because I just don't know who's going to join, and it would make me feel good.
The more the merrier.
The more the merrier.
That's going to be it. Thanks again for listening. Hopefully you all enjoyed it, and we'll see you all
Very soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.